She's riveted still.
There she is. There she is.
Welcome to Jill's.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that lo mein soup?
Except, of course, happy birthday. Surely the best of times.
Greetings and felicitations.
I just wanted to share with you something that may lift your spirits as it did mine those many years ago. All that nonsense about the dangers of mixed races living together on a spaceship or anywhere, and how some parts of our country were certain to refuse to televise Star Trek because we showed such things. The hatred that would supposedly flood our mail, turning sponsors against us. In all the years of Star Trek, we never received so much as one such letter. Not one. Humans are capable of so much more than we yet understand. We're really something. Star Trek fans believe that. And so do I. For us, no limits.
The 22nd century, a reborn planet Earth, 1,000 new adventures. This has been one of them.
Hello and welcome. This is Plumik Tea Time 124. Why are we having this on a Tuesday? Well, today we're going to celebrate the great bird of the galaxy, Gene Roddenberry, or Eugene Wesley Roddenberry, by reviewing one of the great made-for-TV movies he made called Planet Earth from 1974. It was supposed to be a pilot to pave the way for, as you heard, thousands of new, different, exciting stories. It didn't quite happen, but what we did get, I really, really enjoyed it. And I'd just like to right away thank Raquel Briggs for teaching me about this film not more than a few weeks ago. So if you don't know about her, she writes amazing science fiction, and I'll get the link in the chat for you guys in a little bit about her, because she does write amazing stories. Because today is all about Gene Roddenberry, who would have been 104 today, but this is also about friendships and everything, because my entire existence, my entire online existence is might be pretty much because of Gene and the first birthday party I went to here for Gene was on the Clobber Times channel. And I know more people helped, but the fact is that without Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek wouldn't be here. And I also wouldn't have met most of the online friends I've made over the past several years. So Gene really never does stop uniting humanity at all, does he? So happy 104th birthday, Gene. And I'm excited to have Scotty R37 here with me too.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here in this particular celebration of Gene.
Yes, I have to. I'm thanking you, but also someone who is also here in spirit for me. Anyway, I think about him all the time, and of course, his name is Mike Alonzo from the Clobber Times channel. I just always called him Clobby. I'd rather be going to his celebration of Gene today. I miss him so much. I wish I wish I could talk to him. But in fact, celebrating Gene's 100th birthday, as I said, on his channel was my second time live streaming, but it was the reason why I started talking online, is because I couldn't say no to that. It was such a good idea. and so every time I have a milestone or anniversary stream, I talk about it. So if you want to hear the whole story, because there's more to it, make sure to check out when I get to 1701 subscribers, and I will explain that more. Or check out a past stream where I've already talked about it. And Claudia also recently had a birthday on August 11th. We're always going to remember him, and I know I always will. And so the point of all, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and then also I think that there's someone else who would have loved to have joined in on this stream. I know it was his jam for 1970s television. Pop culture curator would have loved to have talked about this, and
yes,
so would Cardinal Sin. Cardinal Sin, I think, would have had a great time talking today about this this pilot.
Yes, yeah, that Cardinal Sin. He was, yeah. That's part of the story. Is that's the first live stream I went on after I said yes to go to Gene's 100th birthday. I finally said yes to Cardinal Sin, who had been badgering me for weeks to be on his show.
So many friends. So many absent friends.
2 absent friends. And I actually have that.
Absent friends.
And so the point of all this is that Gene Roddenberry's spirit stays alive as long as we remember what he's done. And it's important to remember, of course, we remember Star Trek all the time. It's the most fun. But it's also interesting to remember the other things that Gene Roddenberry created. His artistic works are, most of them are really, really great. And this one is no exception. I think it's really great and inspiring science fiction and kind of funny. I really have a lot of fun talking about it, and I thank all of you also for coming to hang out and talk to me about it too. And James Caserta, of course, says Bird of Prey 5-2. Absolutely. Absolutely. Whether he could be here or not, he would be listening.
Yeah.
And I do want to thank everybody who's here. Stark of Iron last night, as soon as I posted the stream, he said, "Happy birthday, Gene. Thank you for swinging by so early to be the first one in our chat." Tony?
Thanks, Tony.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought I heard somebody, but no, it was just a cat. Okay, so... And Gavin Blackburn says, our next stop is not the Twilight Zone. Yes, if you're a regular listener to this channel, you will realize that this is not the Twilight Zone, as we usually have on Tuesday. I could not have a Twilight Zone on Gene's birthday. So we're talking about this instead. Something cool, something different.
I'm curious. I'm curious how that would have gone. I don't know if Rod Serling and Gene Roddenberry had an interaction or an interview or anything in terms of their science fiction brethren, and so I'm curious about that. But yeah, I think that this is a world. Gene Roddenberry inhabited a world that was beyond imagination.
Now that you say it like that, I don't know anything about it, but I would bet they would be great friends if they weren't. And yes, that's what we're here for. Is they both have amazing imagination, and they both had a very similar attempt at using science fiction to improve humanity rather than beat them down, and they both had more hopeful ways of writing.
Cautionary tales and hopeful outlooks.
Yeah, because it's much more difficult to create utopias than dystopias, and so I think they both stood up to that challenge, and that's why I'm reviewing both of them on my channel. And so I want to say hello to DJ Playnice. He's here, as well as Snortapoopus. Cute bird. So wonderful to see you here.
Poopas.
And Alan Trioscillator.
Alan.
See, James Caserta says, Happy birthday, Gene. And thanks for doing what no man has done before.
Yeah. Hey, Jim.
And Gene's watching Strange New Worlds and spinning. Oh, I knew somebody was going to mention the filth here and spinning in his grave. Yeah, all Gene wanted was
money.
Well, yeah, he did want money, but of course he also wanted Star Trek to remain as close to what he created. But of course, New Trek has gone as far away from it as possible and ignored everything about what made it special. And it is not inspiring or imaginative, so that's unfortunate. But the you know, well, hopefully things will get better soon on that front. We'll see what happens with the news there. And James Caserta says, "Welcome to Jill's mind. Wipe your feet." Yes,
Yes.
rest in peace, God. Gosh, yeah, I miss him a bunch, endlessly.
Lemon.
And hello to Lemon Pie. Last month, it was a year since Pop passed. Yeah.
Well, he's not gone as long as we remember him. In
Right.
the immortal words of Dr. McCoy.
I need to remember to do something on his birthday. It's in May. Sometime in May. I need to remember what day it was. Is it the 15th? Because I like to celebrate, and I don't like to celebrate death. You actually have it in your notes?
I do, but it's in my because I'm on my second notebook, and so unfortunately, I'll have to go back through and highlight. James Caserta is absolutely correct. Gene Roddenberry wanted two things, maybe three. One of them was money, the other was sex, and
I guess, yeah, it would be really, really short-sighted to say this pilot is just about money and sex, but it kind of a little bit is, but more than that. It's way, way more than that.
Not so much money. This is about sex and drugs.
Well, he was money as in he was hoping to get a series out of it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also drugs, definitely. Snortopoopas Cuber says, "I watched an episode of Have Gun Will Travel called Helen of you would
Habajan Yan. Oh, whatever. I'm not sure.
You get one guess who wrote it.
Harlan Ellison.
That's a good guess.
No, it's not. It's Gene Roddenberry. The answer is Gene Roddenberry. I'll take Gene Roddenberry episodes for 600, Alex.
It'd be funny if it was Harlan Ellison making westerns. Oh man. But anyway, that's
and
right.
Grogu.
That's right. Gene Roddenberry wrote Have Gun Will Travel the episodes. And well, he wrote a whole bunch of stuff, gave us lots of gifts, including Star Trek and other attempted television pilots like Spectre and Questor tapes, which I still need to check out. But I'm starting here at Planet Earth. And Planet Earth is different because this is a second attempt at a same general world building that Gene had already established in another pilot he made called Genesis 2 about Dylan Hunt, who had gotten into a cryogenics accident only to be revived in the future. And I'm wondering if this is at all inspirational to Futurama, is what I kept thinking of.
Oh. Well, and Dylan Hunt apparently was one of Gene Roddenberry's favorite character names, and it comes back up again with Andromeda, the Kevin Sorbo production. And so, yeah, Genesis. Yes, Captain Blackburn, but Genesis 2.
Oh, I almost ran to go find that clip, Gavin. Obi2, hello, Wrath of Kenobi, wonderful to see you.
Hey, Obi2.
Snortopoop Poopus says he used the name Dylan Hunt for a couple of characters. Yeah, he really loved that name. I wonder why. Wonder what made that name something he loved. Westerns and sci-fi do mix well. Yeah, well, case in point, Firefly.
Yeah. And Cowboy Bebop.
Hmm. And I didn't see Genesis 2. If I thought about it, I would have watched it first. But in that story, it was also exploring a bad society that was tricking the good society. And there was a part where they were also enslaving men. And from that, we basically get this movie and showing what one episode of the series could be like. And I don't know, I think it's a pretty cool sounding series because you take something dystopian like a post-apocalyptic world and turn it into something hopeful, saying that it's all about rebuilding Earth. And so instead of miring in the destruction and sadness, they elevate humanity and say, hey, let's give it another shot.
Absolutely.
And so these good guys are the people of Pax, in case you don't know, who are trying to rebuild Earth and trying to recollect all of the knowledge that was lost after the what do they call it? The Great Conflict.
At the end of the 20th century.
And so just basically the way that they collect all this data and explore all these places is through a series of tubes.
The internet?
Not that series of tubes.
Okay.
But underground subway stations, kind of like what Elon Musk wanted to do one time. That didn't work out very well. But in this case it actually works out, and there's subterranean subway stations that of course let them travel to different places really fast. But
well, and I do want to explore that once we get into the slides and talk about that sort of technological advancement and how it would have supported for a further series.
Yeah, I think it would. It definitely makes me want to see more, but I don't get any more. It's too bad. Here we go. Here are the slides for you. You want to see nature? So this isn't Planet Earth by David Attenborough. This is Planet Earth from 1974. Of course, created by Gene Roddenberry. TV pilot written by Roddenberry and Juanita Bartlett. And it first aired on April 23rd, 1974 on the ABC network. And we've got John Saxon as Dylan Hunt. And I think he's really, really, really cool. It was so this was supposed to be a TV series, but I think Genesis did well and they were gonna make that into TV series, but Planet of the Apes happened and they were like, nope, we're doing that. Monkeys win.
And they made that into a TV show? Like, yeah, they made Planet of the Apes into a TV show, but was it a balance between Genesis 2 or let's adapt a highly popular film of the time?
Yeah. So they went with the highly popular film and just forgot about Genesis 2.
See, brand recognition was a thing back then too.
Yeah, apparently. Well, you can't beat those dirty apes. Rogu says, speaking of cowboys and sci-fi going well together, did anyone see Daniel Craig's movie called Cowboys and Aliens? I feel like somebody just talked about that.
Yeah, we were talking about it on the shore leave. I've seen it. I like it. Yeah.
That's right. It was on the shore leave. Gosh, you guys keep mentioning it. I'm gonna have to. It's kind of like Beetlejuice. Okay, I guess we gotta see Beetlejuice.
I can't believe you said it 4 times. He's gonna show up somewhere.
All right, so I'm just typing that in my notes. And so this movie, it kind of feels like a Star Trek episode without any Star Trek, characters or setting or, it's not Star Trek, but it kind of has, you feel like something So, like, this is a planet that Captain Kirk could visit if it wasn't Earth.
Apparently, it was adapted from a possible Star Trek original series script that was called Pet Shop. And then it was repurposed into what would have been a Genesis 2 script that was called Poodle Shop. And then it was repurposed again for this story. And so, yeah, I think this is an idea, as it says in the credits, as we'll see. It is based on a story by Gene Roddenberry. But in terms of sort of cornerstones of Gene Roddenberry ideals, this is very in line in terms of the resilience of humanity, the cooperation of humanity, which we get into in the third act of the show of Planet Earth. But there are a lot of things that are happening here. I don't doubt for a moment that these are archetypes. Like Isaiah is the Worf character. Baylock is the Spock character. And
yeah,
HS Harper Smythe is very much a I would say almost like a proto Tasha Yar, or maybe a Yeoman Rand, and then John Saxon's Dylan Hunt is in the same vein as Jim Kirk.
Yeah, I was surprised. He even has the same jump kick we see later in the movie. It's really cool. That was really awesome. I didn't think to make those parallels. Very, very, very good. And Brogu says, "Watch out! There's Beetlejuice behind you. Run!"
We come for your daughter, Chuck.
Gavin Blackburn says, "I have fried chicken and chips with fries." Oh, funnily enough, I still have a clip for that somewhere.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, we start off the movie looking at nature. Look at these adorable raccoons, because the reason we do this is because they want to tell you that this movie is set in the future, and it's the 2100s. And by this point, there was a great conflict which destroyed stuff, but now the land, the air, and water is renewed, and the only thing that's different are the people. The people are now a little strange, of course, and it is very strange to walk around just palling around with giant lions. So, not worried about being eaten. It's a good idea.
I can't believe that Albuquerque is so green. Brogu's taken off. See you, Brogu.
Brogu's got to go. Okay. Well, it was lovely having you, and I hope you have a great, great Tuesday. Bye, Brogu. And everybody knows. Go ahead.
This is, well, just in terms of recent events, this is interesting because after recent events of lockdown and whatnot, and people talking about how there was sort of when there wasn't so much travel, and I'm not advocating for this, but I'm just saying that when that did occur, there was sort of a healing factor that went with the Earth, like the biosphere was sort of in a state of repair. And I do like the idea. I don't think this is a commentary on less humans means better ecology, but I think that it is interesting that once the great conflict at the end of the 20th century occurred, and there wasn't so much human busying about, is that the Earth is resilient. It will heal itself. So
when we say to save the Earth, we're talking about saving ourselves, because the planet will be fine without us.
That is, and that's exactly it. I'm not advocating for that. I don't want a Thanos or Ozymandias anything.
Me neither. No, I like living and hanging out with other humans.
Yeah,
but humans are rad. A certain thing. Am I supposed to make a Bugs Bunny joke here? I don't know. Left turn. Oh.
Yes, you are.
I should have taken a left turn at Albuquerque. Okay, there we go. I did.
There it is.
There's the lines.
You stupid bunny. Anyway, that was my Daffy Duck.
Okay, so here is the matte painting for today,
which apparently was used as the matte painting for the villains in Genesis 2. I just read that. A lot of the stuff that was here.
Oh, really?
Was reused from Genesis 2. And again, I'm in the same boat as you, Jill. I haven't seen Genesis 2, but yeah, apparently there was a lot that was sort of repurposed, including Ted Cassidy as Isaiah.
Yeah, he's the only one who wasn't recast, so he got to come back.
Which means that there is a Gene Roddenberry cinematic universe.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Except for we don't talk about the last one, strangely enough, called Strange New World, which had nothing to do with Gene Roddenberry, except for that they took his ideas and made something. I don't know.
Well,
I heard it wasn't good.
This is something that I've heard before, and I think and it's only speculation. It's optimistic speculation, in that in the later years, as Gene Roddenberry sort of tempered his desires and settled down, I think that he did want to leave a legacy so that Rod Roddenberry would sort of prosper after Gene had passed. And so, if anything, I think that he succeeded in having a family legacy for his son. And no matter what the outcome, and no matter your opinions of his progeny, I'm glad that Gene was, because I'm through the course of this sort of tribute and memorial and celebration, I'm going to say a lot of things about Gene Roddenberry that you're going to be like, oh, Scott doesn't really like him. And I do. I like him a lot. It's just he does stray into the blue a lot more than people will acknowledge. But I do appreciate that he was sort of a family man who tempered his desires and appetites later on. And so may the Roddenberry line continue.
I think this movie kind of highlights some of those things that he enjoys. But yes, definitely, he did leave a legacy, and that allowed his son to enjoy the fruits of his labor. Yeah, yeah, for Gene's birthday, I'll leave Rod alone today.
Thank you.
But repay it in kind when you can. David Glenn says, "Hello, Snorty."
Hey, Dave.
And Kimberly Ann Hart says, "Hi, Kimberly. Hi."
Hey, David. Kim.
Good to see you. John Saxon also played Israeli Air Force Major General Benny Peled in Raid on Entebbe.
Raid on Entebbe, yeah. My dad's a huge fan of Raid on Entebbe.
Well, there you are. Mm-hmm. And so now the movie is telling you all about Dylan's past, how he was frozen and suspended animation in 1979, and then woken up in 2133, and that's 154 years. Yeah, to fight crime. Well, no, no, he just woke up. They woke him up later.
Well, and before we get into the plot, as we encounter these actors, of course, John Saxon, I think it was mentioned, I'm not sure who said it. Yeah, it was Snortopoulos. Said John Saxon, oh no, it was not Snortopoulos. Someone else said about the Enter the Dragon. And yeah, it was Gavin Blackburn. John Saxon would have been a hot property this year. He was right off the back end of Enter the Dragon. Yeah. And I find him to be a charming presence on screen. He went on to play Nancy's father, Lieutenant Thompson in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And Quentin Tarantino was a big fan of John Saxon as well. He played one of the policemen on screen on a television report, a news report, in From Dusk Till Dawn. So John Saxon is one of those guys. When he shows up, I'm like, holy moly. So when Jill was saying we're going to watch Planet Earth, I was like, okay, so that, all right, it's a Gene Roddenberry production. We're doing it for Gene's birthday. Great, super faboo. And she said, yeah, no, it's Diana Muldaur. And I was like, all right, I guess we'll watch Diana Muldaur. And then I saw who else was in this. And I was like, oh my God, John Saxon, you sold me. I love this guy. So he is fantastic. This is almost a Shatnerian question. I don't know what his follicles were like in terms of his hair. I don't know if that's a toupee. But either way, John Saxon is charming, charismatic, and magnetic as Dylan Hunt.
Yeah, he's pretty incredible. He does have a presence, and he could carry a series. He was very well cast. But Zordopoopus does mention Enter the Dragon too, so he says that he also had a black belt in karate. So he'd have his own kind of martial arts if we got more of him in this show. Also, starring some obscure guy named Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Yes. And so he's part of Dylan. Saxon is playing Dylan Hunt, part of a group of scientists from Pax, the city of Pax, who we just saw the map painting of, who want to rebuild planet Earth. I explained that earlier. And then we get a log, because of course we get a log. We get Dylan Hunt's log.
Well, but it is a clever way to incorporate voiceover into the storytelling. It's not just internal dialogue. It's not just, or internal monologue, pardon me. So it is an interesting way to be able to keep the audience up to speed. Although this is kind of odd because we are doing like a flashback at the very beginning.
Yeah, they kind of just have to say, "Oh yeah, okay, so he's been asleep for a while, and now he was woken up and he became a scientist." So we're just skipping the whole origin story because they did that already in Genesis too. And so here they're just like, "Oh, we're already friends and we're going on research expeditions."
So is this a situation, and because neither one of us, Jill, we haven't seen Genesis 2. Like, is this a sequel?
Yeah, or it's a retelling. I'm not sure, but I do know that in the very first one they talk more about it. They drag it on a little bit where he's actually starting in the past, and he gets and the cryogenic thing is malfunctioned, and he's stuck forever, and then he until he's unfrozen, I guess, by this Pater Kimbridge guy. And then there's a whole different story that has to do with a spy who says, "No, Pax is evil, come with me." But it turns out that her place is evil. So everything is topsy-turvy, and I don't know. I didn't really get to watch it. So that's as much as I actually know about that particular production. So, but for this story, we're going on a expedition where they're escorting Pater Cambridge on a survey because they're checking some stuff out. And so they said their primary needs from us is education, agricultural techniques. Oh, okay. So they're going to meet some other peoples, but that we never actually meet. So don't worry about them.
Which is, in terms of setup for the show, I think it's fantastic. And this, first things first, this reminds me very much of the sort of tram system that happens in Logan's Run. But I do like, in terms of setup of the world, is that if you have to get somewhere, you basically take the subway, and it goes around. Does it go around the world?
I think it does because later on they mentioned that one of the doctors that they really needed was all the way in the Mediterranean, and that was too far away. There
Right.
were too many subway stations to stop at and relocate the next subway station to get to the right subway station. And so what it again, we'll talk about it in a little bit more later. But speaking of the
Sure.
subway station, of course, it's Gene Roddenberry, so we have lots of Star Trek creators. So guess who designed this subway system back in the first Genesis, reused for this movie?
Harlan
It
Ellison.
again, Matt Jeffries.
Matt Jeffries. Good for you, Matt. So
Yeah.
this is the actual Jeffries tube. For
Yeah,
our British
exactly.
friends.
Exactly. Very good. David got it. And okay, so they're going to an expedition where they're supposed to meet some people they never meet. But of course, they do know that they're going to encounter the Kriegs who we do meet, and the Kriegs are
Yes.
kind of like proto Klingons but human and
Well, they do.
mutated, I guess.
Yes. But they also, in terms of Dylan's log, he does say, like, there are certain things here that are, again, social commentary. Like he goes out of his way to say that they are racially diverse, intelligent but illiterate, and so what they need is education and agricultural skills. And so there is a certain fostering of those who are still miring in the, for lack of a better term, fallout of the conflict, I guess we can call it for short. So there is that social commentary that happens within the world of Roddenberry.
Well, that's kind of fun too because you think about what it's going to take to rebuild the world, and that's one of them is education
And agriculture.
And agriculture. Well, yeah, people got to eat and
It's true.
learn. Why not?
I would love that logo on a t-shirt.
Yeah, me too. Or maybe a baseball cap.
Starring John Saxon. Janet Margolin.
Janet Margolin. Is that Harper? That must be
That is Harper and my stars. Thank you for introducing me to this television show for the simple fact that I got to fall in love for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, she's adorable.
Yeah. When we get to see her, I'll tell her what I know her best from.
Okay. And of course, Ted Cassidy, who we'll talk about when we see him too. Who everybody knows. Christopher Curry. Okay, so I know the character. I actually know the characters in this one, so I just need to know who they are. Here they are.
Christopher Curry is Baylock, a name
Baylock,
that apparently Gene Roddenberry really, really likes.
Right. I will relish it.
Yeah. Have some Tranya.
Oh. And of course, Diana Muldaur.
Now, Diana Muldaur, interesting fact, Diana Muldaur was born 40 years old, and she is still with us. So bless your cotton socks, Diana. But yeah, and she remains to be 40 years old to this day.
Okay. I'm just going to agree with this.
Great. Bob Justman, you old scallywag.
Bob Justman, yeah. Woo. Yes, Bob Justman, one of the people who helped create Star Trek. And
the costumes, the uniforms, are designed by William Ware Tice as well.
Nice. Yeah, see, that's why it felt like watching Star Trek is because of the costuming too. That makes sense. Well, hell, if DC Fontana wasn't busy making the animated series, I bet she would have done something too.
Well, and it's nice to see a creative sort of keep his team together. And I'm sure that there would have been more crossover had this gone to series.
Absolutely. I agree. And Where am I? Oh, there I am.
Earth.
Earth. Planet Earth.
Planet Earth.
Oh yeah, speaking of more Star Trek people, Mark Daniels directed lots of Star Trek episodes.
Heck yeah.
I'm sure he had
Is
a
that
career where he did other stuff, but that's what I knew him for.
well, and like going through the cast and then also the production crew, this is a very prolific team of television performers, television producers, and so I think that is interesting. There's only the one film production that was Roddenberry's outside of Star Trek, which was everyone's favorite high school movie from the 70s, Pretty Maids All in a Row. But which also, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it because it is almost a reunion of sorts with other Star Trek actors. You get William Campbell, you get Jimmy Doohan, and so there is, and even Majel Barrett is in Pretty Maids as well. And so it is nice to see that there is sort of a troupe of creators or creatives.
Yeah,
That,
but
that
unfortunately,
come
it's
together.
not. But unfortunately, it's not very optimistic or positive. So
The bad guy loses.
It's not my favorite.
The
It's
bad
not
guy
my
loses.
favorite.
No, but it's like Caddyshack without the golf and more murder.
More murder. Yeah, too much murder for me.
Oh, come on. You used to be cool. I thought you liked murder. Wait, no.
I do sometimes, but
don't say that you like murder. I don't like murder.
I do when I'm playing Fallout. Genesis
This is
2
true.
co-starred Mariette Hartley, Zarabeth from All Our Yesterdays. Oh, neat. She joked that Zarabeth couldn't show her navel, so she had two navels in Genesis 2. Oh yeah, I remember that. Right, just as a joke, right? Because of course we couldn't have navels on Star Trek. And hello to Gap After Dark.
Hey Gap.
Great to see you. Yeah, I've been too much of a good mood to realize the terrible things I'm saying. So
it's a party.
It's a party, yeah. Happy birthday, Gene. Thank you for making all this fun stuff for us to talk about. It's half my channel. And here are the Kriegs. Okay, so we're already on our mission. We get straight into it. And the Kriegs they're really good machines. And they've taken all the relics of the apocalypse. Anything that is mechanical, they've learned how to reconstruct it.
I'd like to discuss this for just 1 second, but before we do, there is an obligation that we have.
Booger, right.
Yeah, this is very Mad Max before Mad Max.
Right on. Yes, agreed. And they're also obviously genetically different. Like I'm not saying they evolved, but they're different somehow because the tranquilizers that work on humans don't seem to be working on the Kriegs, so they have to change it up. And then of course we have to deal with that. And Pater Kimbridge is getting old. And unfortunately, he gets shot.
Now I'm curious. This looked like sort of, I don't know, Vasquez Rocks in springtime. Like there's a lot more greenery, but it is it must be sort of California, like for the production.
Yes,
but
I think so. Wait a moment. Do we have that information? Let's find out. I didn't really find a whole lot of stuff on this film. Let's see if it's here.
Pupus says, the great naval race. Yes, absolutely. Zarabeth needed 2 navals now.
Yes, California, correct.
Yeah. And then Booger says
Sorry.
there's a fine line between evolving and mutating. Of course, of course.
Yeah, I
And
think it's
I'm
mutating. Mutating is what it was.
and I'm with you, Gavin. My stars, Harper Smythe. Sadly, she passed away in 1993 from ovarian cancer. Not to bring the broom down, but I was surprised to hear that she had passed away. But yeah, she is a smoke show, if I may posthumously oogle her. Yeah, she is so good in this, and I really appreciate the will they, won't they sort of dynamic that they have throughout the movie between her and Dylan Hunt.
Yeah, and just like Saxon, she has a presence too. She's a really good actress. I've never really seen her before.
Well, you know
I
where she's
enjoyed what she
from.
did.
You know where I knew her from, but I didn't know I knew her from it.
What is
Also,
it?
another lady that I appreciated aesthetically. She is the prosecutor in Ghostbusters 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't have caught that. Either.
Well, you know, it was research.
It's
I
work.
didn't
Good
recognize
research.
her. But yeah, I was
That's
just
good
like, who?
research.
I was like Joker in Batman '89. I was like, stop the press. Who is that? And then I looked her up, and very successful actor up until her death. And so, yeah.
Right on. And sort of Hoopus says, I bet Krieg were inspired by the German Krieg War. Oh, you must be right. But also, I like this theory. I wonder if their interest in machinery was later developed for the Borg. I always love thinking about what could have influenced the Borg. So thanks for throwing that monkey wrench in there too. Booger414 says, I suppose posthumous oogling is better than oogling ladies in the Sears catalog. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything wrong with either of those.
I think oogling has negative connotations no matter what. You're not supposed to oogle, gentlemen. Actually, if Tiger Stripes were here, she would say it's pronounced ogle. But
it's ogle.
Ogle, my mistake twice. So, but I just appreciate, those who have come before.
Yeah. I think appreciate is the more respectful term.
Yes.
Appreciating beauty is always okay. And it's part of what makes men special. And that's, part of
Makes
this movie
us dinks.
Too. Yeah, dinks.
Which, when we get to the village, I'm going to have a little bit of a tirade.
Okay. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I hope.
I think so.
You certainly don't act like a proper dink. Dink.
Oh my.
Okay, so anyway, I don't mean to get ahead of anything, but I just thought about it. So Peter Kimbridge is shot, and Harper Smith is run off, and she's captured by the Krieg. There he is. I guess he was shot. I don't know where he was shot. He was shot in the back.
He was shot in the back over a matter of $80. Yes.
Right. Okay. And then Harper's caught in a net, and she's struggling in the net. There you go. Well, there's more action.
It's an interesting sort of situation because, as you mentioned, the weapons that they use don't work on the Kriegs, but it is like a non-lethal subduing, and so it's almost like stun, but with drugs. I wish there had been. I guess these are darts. I wish there had been some sort of, aside from the sound effect, a little bit of pew pew, a little bit more of a signification of firing the weapon. Yes, visually would have been nice, but I guess it's not necessarily.
There is a sound.
Yes, pating. Oh,
yeah, right. Because
kind of
dark. Okay, started Poopus. Okie dokie. The bear must initiate the afternoon nap routine. I wish you much success in your afternoon nap routine, sort of Pupus. He says, enjoy the show and the trip down memory lane.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Poopas. I wish I could say that this is memory lane, but this is brand new.
Yeah, this
This
is
is,
brand new for me too, but I'm going to enjoy everybody else's memory lane in the chat because I think
yeah.
other people know what's going on. And yeah, have a good nap.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring up in terms of Genesis, how they rejected that in favor of Planet of the Apes. And with this, well, again, if this is a retelling or a continuation of Dylan Hunt's story, like this is kind of a leaving the dome of Logan's Run out into the wilds. Like this reminds me of Logan's Run, which also has a television spinoff or adaptation. And so it's funny, again, brand recognition, intellectual properties being farmed for like just the audience knows it. And I think that may have been something that hindered the moving forward of these productions, is the same thing that we have to deal with now. People know Alien, let's make an Alien TV show and then make it all about the robots.
Yeah, that's unfortunate if that's true, and it would be interesting to find out the true reasonings behind the business not wanting to back another project. They kind of wanted to. They kept giving Gene a chance because they were like, "What if he makes the next Star Trek?" But so
Well, this is 1974, and I think, as you mentioned, Spectre, which I'm also very interested to visit, to look at, because it's got Robert Culp and Gig Young. Like it's an interesting premise. I'd like to see that as well. But being offered original stories and then producing them and then being like, nah, we pass. And it's like, oh, I think that when people talk about the we want new stories now, I think that this is something
do.
that, and we do. I think it's something that wasn't even an option in the 70s, and moving forward, it's like, okay, well, let's just take something else that is popular and then slap it on television and see what we can do with it. And it doesn't necessarily sate the desires of the original audience. If
Interesting theory.
If a show is given a chance to find its audience, which it did back then much more, but again, like Gene Roddenberry did have a difficult reputation, especially after third season of Star Trek. And so it's too bad that his battling for original vision would sort of ostracize him from creating new properties.
But also, as Star Trek became more and more popular in syndication, that also helped his image at the same time.
Well, and then when Star Trek The Next Generation came out, don't forget there was huge backlash saying you'll never recreate the magic of the original series. Heck, it's a line in Wayne's World.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, and I play the clip from Free Enterprise and everything, and I get it, but
I just think the more things change, the more they stay the same, and so
well,
while
but that's good. That's good. That's good creation though, because it gave us a new crew, it gave us interesting stories.
Yeah, a familiar world with new characters, I'm good with. But in terms of creating a new world, and I think
the heart that is put into a sequel is important, but I think we're deviating from Dylan knocking out the driver of the Krieg driver, and
yes.
I like the fact that he's threatening another Krieg, but like you said, they're using tranquilizers to knock them out. They don't want to kill, so
no kill.
Harper tells him don't, and so he just punches him.
Well, and that's something, that is something that I feel is it's subtle, but it's something that I kind of go into this knowing as a Gene Roddenberry production and also the log. It's like, I was frozen in 1979 and then I was woken up and I am a primitive 20th century man. And so Harper is there being like, don't fall back on your animalistic ways of the 20th century. We are evolved. It's almost like Sylvester Stallone from Demolition Man. It's like Spartan.
I agree.
Like, don't do that. There's Ted Cassidy. Ted Cassidy playing an Indian, essentially. He's referred to as, unfortunately, a savage.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Well, yeah, that is a antiquated term that is not right, but it's he's okay.
The thing is that it's sort of, I don't know, maybe a sociological evolution of the character and maybe his people. If going forward, we probably would have seen Isaiah go back and be like, no, you should join packs and stuff like that. I feel like there's more backstory to Isaiah.
Definitely is. And also the term savage is also used in A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley for anybody who decides not to be with with the rest of everyone who is, the alpha, the betas, and all of that, and that supposed, better society and everything. And so the main character ends up learning about the quote savages and the people who live outside of the main society. So maybe it's not necessarily what we think.
Well, and also like Ted Cassidy. Have you ever seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Jill? He's in that as well. I was surprised to sort of go through, obviously, as Lurch and Ruck, and so Ted Cassidy. And Ted Cassidy, I don't know why I have a death tally going on, but I wanted to see how many people were still alive, and I was surprised. Ted Cassidy only lived until 1979, complications from heart surgery.
That's disappointing.
But he's such a big guy. You figure his heart's working. He burned twice as bright for half as long, kind of thing.
I suppose so. Wow.
I can stop with the death tally if you want.
Well, no, it's fine. It's fine. But I didn't know we lost him so young. That's disappointing. But we do. What I do like though is that we get this plaque is kind of neat. It shows us how old the sub shuttle station is. It was made in 1992.
But still, it's in the future, based on when this was made.
Yes, it's in the future and the past.
Yeah.
And because, of course, this is the 2100s. And they have the keys, so they have to protect the keys so that the Kriegs don't get into the subway systems. Of course, Kriegs would love to get into those subway systems. And they're always trying to figure out how to get in there. And I can imagine that being one of the plot points that comes up every once in a while.
It would be it'd be a great season finale. It was like, oh no, the Kriegs, they've entered. They know one of the tube rockets or tube shuttles, I think they call it.
It's really inevitable because they're obviously highly intelligent creatures. And because they're human, but they're a little bit different.
Well, and
I guess maybe like above ground Morlocks.
Yeah. I'm still with the Mad Max people. I think they're just people. Mutated savages. And that's
savages.
Also,
there's that word again.
Well, yeah, but they are. They're more violent, and that's one of the things that I like about Isaiah is that he I think he thwacks one of the guys who has a rifle, and he closes the door to make sure that they can't get into the rocket tubes, and then he pulls the rifle out. And then when he gets back and they start shooting at him, he sort of regards the rifle and then turns it around and smashes it because the people of Pax are beyond that mindless violence. They're not going to go and randomly kill their enemies.
Yeah, but
They
you should
just
see
need to
him
protect themselves.
smashing that gun. That's a show of strength in it of itself.
Exactly.
He
Proto-war.
smashes it to pieces.
Yeah.
So they're getting home, and oh, there's Major Barrett in a tiny screen. We don't get to
Yes.
see her in a big screen. This is the only way we get to see her.
What is it? It's like when people complain that James Gunn has his wife in everything, and it's like, Gene did it first.
Gene did it first. Yeah, she was in Genesis 2 also. So here she is. She's
Big shout out to
getting
Big shout out to Canadian Spider-Man, who is here. Welcome, Spidey.
Oh boy, Canadian Spider-Man's here. Hello. I've been listening for over an hour. Oh, fantastic. We've been going for over an hour. It feels like we just started.
And Gavin says 1992 is when Hell 9000 was first turned on. His instructor taught him a song. Would you like to hear it? Jill, would you like to hear it?
Is it anything about daisies?
It is about Daisy. Give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy. Over the love of you. I've said too much.
Well, and then then it's gotta start, or is Hal gonna go away now? We gotta review that at some point.
I was just thinking the same thing, yes.
I've been meaning to.
That's gonna be a lot of
I
slides.
put that one
though.
off.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's a lot of research also.
How much can we talk about the monkeys? Apes.
Well, we can talk about them for it's just the beginning of the movie, so
we'll talk about them
for
later.
at least
We'll
20
talk about
minutes.
them later. Yes, sounds
But
good.
not right now.
No.
Not right now.
If you'll excuse me, I have to go to the washroom, the water closet.
Okay, take your time because right now we've got a Pater, and he is shot. Cambridge, he's shot, and he's not doing so well. And so they make it to the substation, they make it to the sub shuttle, and we talk to Yulof, and Yulof, of course, played by Majel Barrett. And she asks about what happened with the Kriegs. And so Dylan says, you've got to cut off the tube power over there because there's too many Kriegs. You can't let them get a hold of a sub shuttle. So she says, right. So she turns off the power. But I guess supposedly not the power for the sub shuttle they're using. So that's good. But what's not good is that Pater's not doing so well. Pater Cambridge's heart is damaged, and the doctor can tell this much. Dr. Baylock? But that's all really he can do for him. He can't do much else with that little med kit. So they've got to get back to Pax. So, but it takes a little while. So there ends up being a little bit of praying from Isaiah as and there's a little pushback on this praying, but of course I like what Balak says. His praying will wait. What is it that he says? Oh, I usually like to have the transcript up, but essentially it's that his praying could actually help just as much as what I've just done. So that's essentially what happens here. Or essentially it couldn't hurt, right? And so and then we get another Dylan's log once they get back to Pax. I call it Dylan's log because I don't know what else to call it. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this part where where Baylock does some kind of mental connection, almost like a mind meld, right? Kind of sort of just does a mind meld to find out that Cambridge is dying and that so he knows pretty much everything. It's part of his ability as a healer to be able to tell this kind of stuff from connecting mentally with the patient. And unfortunately, he's slipping away, not doing so good. But Gavin's here. Oh, yeah. Hey, Gavin. That's great. Yeah. Gavin's been here for a while, but I'm just saying hello again. Because right now we're still traveling through the sub shuttle. And finally, we make it to PAX. And Pater's now getting some better help, some better medicine. And we get the conclusion of Dylan's log, which I will read. Concluding log report. If Cambridge dies, the responsibility is mine. And our return to PAX has made the burden no easier. To me, Cambridge is PAX. Its grace, its warmth, its dreams of helping Earth rebuild again. He is the man who discovered my body in suspended animation, whose skill brought me to life again, whose wisdom helped me to understand that the best of my own 20th century is not dead. That Earth is still my home. Its people still my people. And I think that second log is really, really good to explain who Cambridge is and why he's so important to Dylan. And so here, Cambridge comes out of surgery. He can only survive with a bioplastic prosthesis to heal his heart. But oh no, there are very, very few doctors who can pull off this type of surgery. Dr. Rabins is the best one, but he's stuck all the way in the Mediterranean, and it would take 2 weeks for him to get home. That's too long. But there's also Jonathan Connor, who trained under Rabins. So they should get Jonathan Connor, right? But no, the problem is he's missing. He's missing. So that's the most important thing about what gets these guys to go to the Amazon village. They know where he was last seen, so they begin to search. And I don't know. I wonder why they didn't search for Dr. Connor sooner. Maybe they just figured, oh well, maybe he's just on a expedition by himself. It kind of doesn't make sense that they don't go out looking for him before this. So they head to where they think they last saw Dr. Connor alive and hope the Kriegs moved to another spot because they don't want to run into them again. And so they're on for another adventure. They've got to. They know the last time they saw Dr. Connor, it was around an area which they heard stories about a great and strange Amazon society where males are bought and sold like captive animals by women. And so here's my first video to that effect. So this is like one of those tables are turned kind of stories where it except everything's flipped.
You mean a matriarchy?
Women's lib? Or women's lib gone mad?
Yeah.
Oh, Gene.
Yeah, but it's matriarchy, but it's too much of a matriarchy, and it's
What's
extremism. Extremism one way or the other is bad. And Gene thought it would be fun to see the other end. What if it were flipped?
Well, what's that episode of the first season of Next Generation where Riker gets all gussied up with his bare chest and all that jazz? I forget the name of the episode.
That's the other one. This is a way better presentation of that. The Angel One.
Angel One, yes.
This is way better than Angel One. Oh my god. But yeah, that does make me think of this too. Right on.
But it is a social commentary sort of movie.
It is. It is definitely sociological in that nature, just like that.
Gavin Blackburn, says, a crazy upside down world where men are enslaved by women. I'm in. I am also in. Being a She-Hulk fan, I would love to be dominated. Anyway, only sometimes. Depends on the lady. Depends on the lady.
Well, okay, so then, yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of that talk coming up very soon. So let's
Hells
not
yes.
get too excited just yet.
No, I'm
So
already
we
excited.
got so Dr. Carner heard of some plant mutations in that area. That's why he's there studying. So I guess they just thought he was still studying and they didn't think to check on him until now.
Did you mention the fact that this is the original but nicer version of the Terminator, where everybody's running around looking for John Connor?
No.
I was like, they're looking for John Connor. It's great.
No, I didn't even think of it.
Are you John Connor?
We need to rescue you.
Yes. Except Dylan Hunt is from the past. He's come to the future to find John Connor.
Well done.
So this is like this is a shuttle. This is basically the same thing that happened when it was like, oh, if you have a giant spaceship, how are you gonna get people up and down? How are you gonna land the ship? And it's like, we got transporters. So it's like, oh, it's after World War III or whatever. How are you gonna get around the Earth? And it's like, we got a subway.
Oh yeah, the Orville did have an episode with matriarchal race. Those ladies were not very nice. All right.
It's a shame.
So no, yeah. They weren't I don't think they were as sexy either. But anyway. So Dylan suspects that John Connor
You're never gonna get over that now.
was captured by the Amazon women there.
Yes.
And so in order to give them the best chance of discovering him, they're going to split into two teams with Balak and Isaiah going to the main village to explain everything. And then Harper and Dylan are going to visit the Confederacy of Ruth with just one transceiver and whatever horses they can find. And Harper will lead Dylan into the land with a rope around his neck to convince them that she believes in female dominance so that they can find Jonathan Carner.
Look at a man spreading.
Hey, he's relaxing. And then we see men in the fields doing some heavy labor. That would be way easier if they had some oxen.
Mm-hmm. And also, they're not doing it very well.
No.
Well, and I'm just saying, like, they have this tract of land and they're like, let's do it diagonally, but only a third of it at a time. Like, there's no organization to it. I guess it's a production issue, but if the matriarch, if the Confederation of Ruth, it'd be like, no, guys, one end to the other, back and forth. Like, it just makes more sense. And the way that they're doing it is like, oh, okay, I guess we're only doing this part of the land. Although, I'm not an agriculturalist. I don't know if maybe you're supposed to leave part of you're supposed to leave part of the land so that you can do that next season. You don't want to do the entire
I think you're probably
tract.
right. And no, I think you're right the first time. I think that it wasn't, they weren't thinking that anybody was going to pay that much attention to how they were farming. Farming, yeah. I was trying to think of a better word. But yeah, it's just like right in the middle.
Yeah. I don't think that, like, if I were to mow a lawn and that's how I started, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you high?
No, this is not right. What are they supposed to do with the rest of the land? Are they gonna? Yeah, you know what? This is more troublesome than I found the first time I watched this.
But then you look in the background there at the top right, and it's like, no, they have it going on back there, whatever they're growing back there.
Yeah, it looks right there. Yeah, so maybe they do have a method to their madness that makes more sense.
Well, and also we talk about, or they talk about in later on, how they're looking for breeding stock. Maybe this is how they sort of suss out who is physically capable, who are the people that we want to breed. Speaking of breeding, no, I'm sorry, Harper, I didn't mean to say such a thing. There she is, Diana Muldaur, 40
Yes,
years
she's playing.
old.
She's not 40 here.
She's always been 40. She was born 40. Do you find her attractive?
And this one kind of.
Wow. All right.
Like, I don't know. Like, not in The Next Generation, but
no, I've never
she's kind of
found
cool
Diana.
here.
Capable actress. Great
I don't know.
presence.
I don't know. I'm not a guy, so I can't really. I think she's cool.
Yeah, she's like an elderly librarian forever, and by elderly I mean 40.
Yeah, but 40 isn't elderly.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I don't know. No, I don't think. I don't really. It doesn't really bother me if I'm not sexually attracted to an actor or actress in a movie or TV show ever.
No, I'm not either. But again, there's been a long-standing relationship between Gene Roddenberry and Diana Muldaur. Obviously, two episodes of the original series came back as Pulaski in The Next Generation. But there's something about her. She's like school marm from Little House on the Prairie or something.
Well, Gene Roddenberry likes her.
Well, then you know what that means.
No, I don't know what that means.
He's boldly gone where few have gone before.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
Not for sure, but I speculate.
I speculate nothing. Gavin Blackburn says Zardoz. Oh yeah, I guess her outfit does kind of look like Zardoz a bit. I didn't think about that.
And
Booger's got to go get
off.
ready for work. Yeah, he's got to go get ready for work. But thanks for spending some time with us before work. John Connor and the Amazon Women of the Moon.
Yes. Booger gets it. If you haven't seen Amazon Women on the Moon, I recommend it. It's a great movie.
I want to see it. I want to see that. I want to talk about it. Gavin says, if the women didn't open their yaps, those guys would be drinking beer and having fun.
In which case we would get Idiocracy. Just a bunch of drunk dudes sitting on a PlayStation, watering their plants with Gatorade.
They crave electrolytes.
That's what plants crave.
Maggie. Hello, Maggie.
Hey, Maggie.
And anyway, Marg is here. And she is instructing her team to farm the way she wants them to farm. They got to have the field ready by tomorrow.
So is she the queen of the Confederacy of Ruth? Or is Ruth in charge?
Queen. I think that we're just at a particular village where she is a leader, but I don't think she's a queen. We don't ever see any Ruth, do we?
No.
No, I don't know.
For some reason, I feel like Ruth is a biblical name, or there is some weight to the name Ruth.
Well, obviously, Confederacy makes me think of the southern states, and of course, you think of the Civil War and slavery and all of that. And so there's definitely some kind of analogy there. But Ruth, do some work on that one.
Okay, I will. But before I start looking into Ruth, I do like this as a setup in terms of what's going on, because we got the Kriegs, we got the Confederacy of Ruth, we have that unknown coastal community that needs agriculture and education. I like that you can go to new societies on Earth, or new communities on Earth, each of which had tried to rebuild after whatever devastation had occurred. And so you could go places and find mutations and find different orders of society You could, and as the introduction says, or maybe it was the conclusion where it's this is the Earth rebuilding, and there are thousands of stories, and this is just one. And it's like you could meet new tribes, new communities every time, and so it's great. Yeah, and Gavin says there is a book of Ruth in the Bible. I don't think there is a book of Ruth in the Bible. I think. Well, let me look. Gavin, hang on a second. I'm gonna look.
I subscribe to your principles. Female dominance is the natural order of life. He is my property. He was your property.
So Marg begins to whip Dylan for looking at her in the eyes. So we get to see how they treat men here poorly in this society, in the Confederacy of Ruth. And Harper tells her to stop, of course, but Dylan actually complies here, and things get a little messy. So because Marg challenges Harper's ownership of Dylan and immediately steals him. So that's what that slap was about. So essentially, Marg slaps Harper and steals Dylan. But she didn't know that that's his name.
So Gavin, I apologize. Yeah, apparently there is a book of Ruth. But a hardened Naomi encouraged her daughters-in-law to repent backwards, away from God. But humble Ruth repented, by turning to a people, place, and God who weren't her own. Ruth 1:16-18. The story of Ruth teaches us that hardships are opportunities to turn to God in faith. So.
Seems a bit contradictory to what this society is really like.
Yeah, but if you lift stuff, if you sort of, again, it sounds legitimate. If you're not 100% biblically literate, like myself, because I'm like 7% literate. Yeah, I think it's great. It is an alliterate or an allusion to something that sounds familiar, and yet people generally aren't familiar with. Classic Comics is here.
Hello to Classic Comics. Also does some Star Trek streams himself. He likes to talk about it.
Nice. I think everybody should do a Star Trek stream.
Yeah, right. The more people talking about Gene Roddenberry's work, the better.
Yes. And John Saxon was everywhere in the 70s. He was a working actor. The guy was fit, and not like he was physically capable, but also he had the gravitas and conviction to his performance that I think was very appealing to audiences. I wish he were a bigger star, but I'm happy for what we got from him.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for this. I got to see more of him after this.
Hell yeah.
So he's asking Marg about Connor, but she's just telling him to be silent.
Yes.
And he tries to help. He tries to help or say, "Oh, you can really use some oxen," but she says, "No, why would we bother with animals when the men take care of themselves, grow their own food, and they're easier to train?"
Which
is terrible, because of course it's advocating slavery, and so that's not good.
Well, it's not necessarily the advocating of slavery. It's the fact that the men are drugged to do exactly what you need. And so the animals, I guess you could drug the animals, but.
You could, but. Oh.
They'd be unruly.
Some are. Well, and.
We don't geld our males, if that's what worries you. It would make them too fat and lazy.
Is that castration? Is gelding castration?
Yes.
Okay.
And then for the first time she calls him a dink. And but then she says, if you keep talking, maybe I'll make an exception in your case, indicating that she would castrate him if she has to. I think that's an empty threat, but I don't know. I don't know for sure if anybody wants to test that. So we get a closer look at the village and all the people in it, and how all these women are and men are in this society, and one of the women is blacksmithing, and they're doing things. And Marg calls to Villar, who is looking over some men who are all restrained because she sells them. They have auctions to sell the men, and Marg wants to sell Dylan. And they look at his hands and they see that he hasn't had any heavy labor his whole life. And Villar considers Dylan to be good enough to become one of Marg's breeders. So we could start up that storyline of what these men are used for besides physical labor. They're also used, of course, for making babies.
Bow chicka
And
wow.
I would like to thank Sig Valdison, who sends $5. Never heard of this film until today. And so I am going to spoil the hell out of it. But I am so happy that you were here to celebrate Gene Roddenberry's birthday with us. 104 he would have been. And thank you for the $5.
Welcome, Siggy.
Yeah, welcome. Here, I'll give you the next one that's up in line here.
One question, and then I'll obey all your rules.
I thought Marg said he had no spirit.
Hey, Sigvaldison has spirit.
Sigvaldison has spirit. That's right. So that's essentially and that's what we learn about, is how this society works.
Also, I would like to say that those are Princess Leia buns.
They are.
3 years before Princess Leia graced the scene.
Yes. That's right. And
Sigvaldison sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Sigvaldison says, we should celebrate it by pushing a pretty red button.
Oh, that's Friday.
Gotta get down on Friday.
So Dylan continues to try to be helpful. He warns them about the Kriegs. Hey, you guys need to be ready for the Kriegs. But Villar is continuing the theme of telling Dylan to not talk. And Villar claims they can take care of themselves, but despite being told not to speak, he asks about Dr. Connor. He's whipped again, and of course, as the clip showed, he promises to obey if he gets to ask about the friend. And sometimes, he learns that dinks are given names, but sometimes they're not even given names. The mistress might not even give them any names at all. And so then Dylan is bound and put into a pen where he meets. He's bound because he's not taken that drug yet, so he's not placated. And yeah, basically. And so he finds his friends. He finds the other scientists. He finds
Isaiah and Baylock. Yeah.
Yeah, he finds them. And they are timid. They're scared, and everybody runs away. And so they don't look so good. And they're upset by how angry Dylan seems.
Well, and it's
an angry voice.
That was a great Ted Cassidy impression. But this is also
just like my Worf.
Yeah, it is kind of. But still, I think that Isaiah is very much like Worf. But it is interesting that they do sort of acknowledge as Dylan is trying to figure things out. He's like, so were you operated on? Did you get an implant? Did they make you drink something? What's going on? And so this is almost Planet of the Apish. Because you'll remember
because they
Planet
have
of the Apes. Yeah. I think that Taylor shows up and one of his crew had a lobotomy or some such nonsense. Brain surgery of a sort.
That's even worse than here. Here it's a drug.
Yes.
That of course makes you afraid of everything. It makes you timid and it makes you flinch at everything, and it makes you hallucinate too. And hello to Penny. Hey, Penny's here. Thank you for bringing that one up.
Penny.
They're also having auctions, so they're selling off the men, and all the women basically molest them as they're discovering whether or not they want to purchase them.
Oh, Gene.
Yeah, they're kind of picking on him, but I guess.
Well, and it's funny because there is a moment where it's like he could be a breeder, and then one of the people in the crowd is
yeah,
like,
if you like 30-pound babies.
Yeah, which I don't know if you've had children, but yeah. 30 pounds that would do monstrous things to your hips.
Yeah, that 30-pound babies are why they invented C-sections. Who the heck has a 30-pound baby?
I don't know. Ted Cassidy's mom.
And so, well, that's okay. I'm not going to look up.
No, don't.
How many pounds Ted Cassidy was at birth?
Yes. I don't know if it's on his IMDb page. I'm not going to look.
Probably not. It probably just his mom knows that.
Yes.
So
actually, yeah, no, it's like Diana Muldaur was born 40. Ted Cassidy was born this size.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, Dylan's trying to get Balak to look him in the eyes. He won't even look him in the eyes. So, and that actually helps him focus. And he tries to remind him, Balak, that he's an Esper with the mental powers that could probably block out what's going on to some extent, or at least fight it.
Well, and that's also like so he's got the basically he's got mind meld abilities as he dealt with Pater whatever.
Yes, I did mention that. Pater Cambridge.
Yeah.
I mentioned that when you were gone, the mind meld.
And so, and also Gene loved, like, even going back to Where No Man Has Gone Before, he loved the idea of espers.
Yeah, Where No Man Has Gone Before.
Drug-induced fear. Terrible fear.
It's just so interesting to see sort of through lines. And I know we've had conversations about Gene's work in the past and how his, like, whenever he has to write a science fiction story, it's always like a god. But there has to be an alien god who is all powerful, and then we mortals fight the god and prove that he's not.
Well, in this case, it's still a power struggle, but it's a bit of a more terrestrial one.
Yeah, but there's like there are things like I think I've even dismissed Gene's writing sort of quiver of stories that he has, and it's like he's only got like 2, but there's a lot going in here that it's almost like he's collecting a lot of the things that he's collected through his years. He's combining them, and so. This being, I think, his second last effort to pitch something to a network. And I do appreciate, I appreciate it greatly. And I think that he could, with the right team, work outward from his, for lack of a better term, genesis.
Well, definitely. Well, that's the whole reason Star Trek is so great, because he didn't do it by himself, because he had lots of different storytellers and brought in outside storytellers also.
Mm-hmm.
And he needed help, and he got it. And he was very good at finding people who did amazing things too.
Did you ever hear the story about him and L. Ron Hubbard?
Tell me.
So they were contemporaries and colleagues of a sort, just being science fiction writers at the time. And there is, I'm pretty somewhat kinda not really sure that there was a conversation between L. Ron Hubbard and Gene Roddenberry, and Gene Roddenberry's sitting there and he's talking to L. Ron Hubbard, and he's like, I'm trying to get this off the ground. I'm trying to get this off the ground. I'm trying to tell this story. I'm trying to tell this story. And L. Ron Hubbard said, yeah, no, I get it. I like science fiction too. I write science fiction. But if you really want to make money, create a religion. And in a way, Gene and L. Ron, who you may remember as being from Picard season 1. I think they ditched him after season 2. There is a character named L. Ron.
Okay, wait a minute. You're going off the deep end. What just happened? I thought you were telling a story about Gene Roddenberry. Now you're talking about the filth.
No, I was talking about L. Ron Hubbard. I was talking about L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
The creator of Scientology. Okay. Who had advocated to Gene Roddenberry saying, science fiction is good, but if you really want it, where the real money is, create a religion. And then I was saying that there is a character in Picard season 1, at least, maybe 2. I think he's in 2. Named L. Ron, which I think is fascinating.
What does the one have to do with the other?
It's just it's an anecdote on a birthday.
Oh, okay. I thought there would be a point, but anyway,
nope.
Gene Roddenberry's was always very respectful of religion, and would, and there was never any indication that he would ever be that kind of dogmatic like L. Ron Hubbard. So, fortunately, we didn't get.
But I think that I think it was in the late 70s in the Otoy Star Trek Phase 2 little documentary that came out. One of his colleagues from that said that it was really in the late 70s where Gene became more of a humanist as opposed to embracing theology. And so I wouldn't go
no
so
matter
far as
what his person. No matter what his personal beliefs were, he always respected religion and would never like insult anybody's religion in any way.
So, even if they were Scientologists?
Yeah. So the idea, well, maybe I don't know. Did he do that?
I don't think he had any qualms.
No. And no, I know Scientology is not good. That's a whole other rabbit hole that I don't want to jump down right now.
Sure, fair enough. Let's move on.
I thought maybe you had something going on there.
No, I was just again.
Just
this
like,
is a celebration.
They met.
and we discussed.
Yeah, he met a lot of people.
We discussed the hypothesis of Rod Serling and Gene Roddenberry, and from what I understand, there was a relationship between L. Ron Hubbard and Gene. I'm hypothesizing. I'm not trying to offend, especially considering what happens when you. Yeah, but no, I'm worried about the Scientologists.
I'm not worried about the Scientologists. Scientology sucks.
Wow, Jill. Let's not go crazy. You never know what's going to happen if you go against, Cthulhu or whatever the hell the guy
is. That Cthulhu?
No, I don't know.
Well,
I'm not a Scientologist.
They hurt people who leave their religion, so I think
That's why I
that's
hadn't
probably
joined.
a bad one.
Yeah. I was asked to do an audit once, but I decided I
So
didn't want to.
right. But I'd rather why
You don't
couldn't
want to
we
talk
talk
about
about
Scientology.
why couldn't we talk about the time that Gene Roddenberry and how Gene and Ray Bradbury were friends and how people would mistake the one for the other sometimes. I think
I thought
that
it
one
was
is way
Isaac.
cuter.
I thought it was Isaac Asimov. I thought everybody thought he was Isaac Asimov.
Oh, maybe that one too. I don't know, but this one was definitely true.
Bunch of old white guys
They
with
even got their
sideburns.
apparently they even got their mail mixed up. And so there was one quote here that I had for later that I didn't know I'd read right now. Mr. Roddenberry. Oh, that's right. So they would come up to Ray Bradbury and think that he's Roddenberry even though Roddenberry had passed already. And Bradbury would say, "Not as long as I'm alive." Aw. So that's actually kind of sweet. See, that's a lot better than freaking L. Ron Hubbard. God, wrong with you. James Caserta says TNG's Angel One had a matriarchal society. Yeah, that's right. We did mention it. She was in Star Trek, the original series, also. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Right on, right on. Just thinking about how these women are able to keep power. Wouldn't take long for men to take over by sheer brutality. Yeah, exactly. But that's why they drug them. They're drugging them to make them afraid and timid. And here is Real Raid Nation Gaming is also here. Hello.
Scotty, did you get a She-Hulk? No, I did not. Not yet. And James Caserta corrects me and educates me. The name of the deity in Scientology is Xenu. And as a South Park fan, I should have known that. I apologize to everyone listening.
I never read Dianetics. Whatever it's called.
I do have the DVD to Battlefield Earth, though.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I watched it. It's great. If you enjoy So Bad It's Good, it is So Bad It's Good.
So where were we in this? We're looking, we're selling the men.
We're auctioning off slaves.
Except for Dylan. They have to wait for tomorrow because he has to be trained. He has to be trained first. And of course, by that she means we got to feed him some gruel so that he's drugged and listens to us. But the ladies are still fighting over him. They want him, so they're
John
rubbing
Saxon.
him all over. Yeah, they're really excited.
Who doesn't want him? Oh, speaking of things that or people that, why wouldn't you
are
want
wanted? So Harper approaches the house, and so this is Teresa's house, and she has men playing the piano, feeding her baby, and then there's a farmer there that she's discussing work with. So we should be seeing that right now, but the slides aren't moving. There's a pianist.
Oh, what a pianist.
And then there's the nanny over there, and here's the drink, and here's the farmer.
Well, and Therese doesn't drug her dinks.
She doesn't. And that's the coolest thing about her, but we don't find that out until later. And so and she also mentions, of course, very important to know that's why she has a young baby. Is that she doesn't that's what I think too. They never outright say she doesn't drug him, but we know she doesn't drug him.
Well, her companion seems very with it and not afraid of her.
Mm-hmm.
This is almost like a free will dink communion. Although, and this is, I'm going to apologize in advance, I've never seen a dink play, or I've never seen a dink pianist.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a atypical Confederacy of Ruth household. I don't think every household looks this like this.
No.
They're all doing their own thing, kind of, and a bit, because we see the other house where they're all just standing in one spot and just waiting to be told what to do, and so it's not the same.
Like
And
it really becomes, and again, knowing what's going on with production, knowing our series creator or our film creator, having dink used liberally throughout, which is a euphemism for a male appendage, and then seeing pianist, like there is something out, like this is all euphemism. At a certain point, it strays into euphemism.
Innuendos happen. It's
Often.
all there.
It's all there. Also, here's another woman who was born 40. Not you.
No, I know you're talking about Treese.
Not Harper. Yeah, Treese.
But I'm stopping on Harper because I want to play this clip.
Oh, great.
What do I have
Harper
to do?
rules.
Fight you just to get simple directions?
That is your right, of course.
And so they do fight. So that's how women in the society solve problems. They say,
You want to arm wrestle?
Oh! I want some directions.
That makes me giggle every time.
It is funny. For the love of God.
And then
For the
what
love of
stops it
Ruth.
is, and then the kids are like, "Mommy," and then Harper feels a little guilty about it.
I didn't mean to beat your ass. I didn't see the children. I didn't want to beat you down in front of the kids. That's rude.
Yeah, that's rude. I would have taken you into another room.
Exactly. I would have taken you out to the shed. Oh, I'm having too much fun because this starts off with such setup and adventure, and then it just really this is an episode of Star Trek.
This is an episode of Star Trek with some extra scenes added.
Yeah.
And so we switch back to Dylan, and Beelar is a promise not to restrain him if he behaves.
F you, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't have any hope. Anyway, sorry, I'm going to make fun of her buns forever.
No, that's fine. You may continue. So
Merci.
Dylan is fed, and we know that he knows not to eat the food. So he's very clever, and he switches food with this other guy, and says eat, and then of course it looks like he's eaten as much as the other guy ate because he switched the bowls, and then he does it again when the one guy essentially slurps everything, and then he does it to where his bowl is completely empty. So
this is good. This is
totally drunk.
This is the grossest thing I have ever seen any hero do to get out of a situation. I think it's the grossest. Is that he does take a huge spoonful of the drugged gruel, and then the not Princess Leia looks at Dylan and then looks away, and then he spits it back into the bowl, and then he passes it to the dink beside him, and then says, "Eat my backwash." Not literally, but it's just like he basically throws up in a bowl and then says, "Eat it." And I think
he had to pretend. He had to pretend to eat it because he can't eat this stuff. And how else is he going to get rid of it?
I know. I'm not saying
he pours it on the ground. She's going to see it.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's pretty gross.
It is pretty gross. I forgot about the spitting. Yeah, that part is gross. And anyway, that happens.
It does.
And Villar's very happy to see that he's finished his porridge.
Gruel, not porridge.
And gruel, whatever. Dylan is very proud of himself for tricking her.
Like, I don't like porridge, but I don't like it myself. Oatmeal, porridge, not a fan.
I don't mind oatmeal with enough sugar and cinnamon.
But there is a world of difference between oatmeal porridge and gruel. And they're eating gruel.
Yes, it is gruel.
Meanwhile, Harper
and Teresa's great great grandmother's harp work is being played by the pianist.
Thank you.
And Harper Smith is supposed to be able to ask about Connor in the village tomorrow, where she will also be able to challenge Marg to win back Dylan. And none of these women actually say Dylan's name. I'm just saying Dylan just so you know who I'm talking about, because they don't recognize him as a person.
Right.
So
he's basically
in fact,
livestock.
He is. He's livestock, and even though Treese is kind of an elevated form of the kind of lady in the society, she still has demented thoughts about the place of men in society. She says, of course, it's not true. I'm not saying this is my belief, but Treese says, because women don't deceive themselves like men, male societies reward deceit and cowardice. Here, as in nature, the strong have the best mates in households. In nature, the female is always dominant. When that natural order is reversed, men become the same vain, quarrelsome little seed carriers who lied and postured and drove the whole world into destruction. And so that's kind of a flip story of saying that, the opposite.
Well, I was curious about because there are female praying mantises when they mate, then they eat their lovers. I vaguely remember something about like lions, like the lady lions are more fierce than the male lions, things like that.
They do more of the hunting.
Right. And so there is a kernel of truth to this, and I do appreciate it somewhat. And then at the end, like for the story, whether it be accurate in terms of the animal kingdom and the people, is that at the end, it is sort of Marg's answer. It's like, oh, you're just like all the other men. You're deceitful and conniving and everything. And it's like, well, yeah, Dylan is deceitful.
Dylan had to be to save his friend.
Yeah.
So there was always that kind of thing that he had to do that. He didn't have a choice really. He could have, I guess he could have. He could have done something else. He could have been more violent, I guess.
Well, yeah, but that's what the Kriegs are for.
Yeah, that's what the Kriegs are for. So he's not that. He's not that because he's with the Pax and they don't want to kill. And so he could have come in here going to war with these ladies to get his friend, but he chose a different path. And that's what makes the Pax different from the Kriegs.
Right.
And as far as the animal kingdom goes, the best example of a matriarchal society among the animals that are really, really very intelligent are the elephants.
Really?
Yes. It's true.
I was thinking bees and ants, but elephants are matriarchal?
Oh, absolutely. No kidding.
What about bears? Like bears are very protective of their cubs.
Well, that's motherhood in general. Most mothers, there are some bad mothers in the animal kingdom, but most of them really care about their babies.
Don't you let your babies walk my way. Is that the damn song?
This live stream has violated the community guidelines for misogyny and will be terminated. Well, also not just misogyny, but also misandry. It will be terminated in 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, we're still here. Gap After Dark says elephants are extremely smart. Yes, they're my favorite land animal.
And contrary to popular belief, from what I understand, elephants do eventually forget.
They can forget. It's true, but that doesn't come from nowhere. Elephants have there are elephant graveyards for a reason. And that's because the elephants carry all the bones of their deceased to one central location, and they do grieve the dead. And so they're pretty amazing.
Hang on a second.
Enough about elephants. We got to meet the Krieg.
Let's talk more about Harper.
Wait, no, we got to talk about the Kriegs for a minute and the bumps on their heads. Are these I wonder if this leads to putting bumps on the heads of Klingons later.
You know what? When I was looking up the research on this, and it said that this was like a precursor to that, but
it's a question. I'm not saying that that's true. It could be false.
It is similar to the motion picture Klingon Ridges, but I don't know. Maybe. Let's chalk it up to maybe.
Okay, let's chalk it up to maybe. Basically, they're planning an invasion. They want to invade the Confederacy of Ruth because they can we can overpower the ladies and the men won't bite us because they are all like rabbits.
Can I say something that may be controversial?
I'm wondering if it's what I think you're going to say. So please.
I don't think it is what you think it's going to say. Can we get a close up on the soldier general?
We can. It might take a couple minutes here.
Sure. Okay. So when we get there, no, not him.
Oh yeah, they have K branded on their face for Krieg.
You're right. That guy. For some reason, and I apologize in advance again. Yeah, I think that this particular Krieg, and again, I'm not trying to insult anyone. I was just like, who does that look like? Who does that look like? I think this guy looks like Comic Relief Crusader. Shout out to Comic Relief Crusader. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I don't recognize him with that. I need to see him in a dress.
I need to see him with a beard. What do you mean a dress?
Oh no. No. It's just a thing he did. He wore a dress one time on King Dolphin TV and everybody laughs about it. So I'm sure
I've never seen that, but I was just like,
that's all just good fun though.
So yeah, no. Well, I don't know. Yeah, let's put this guy in a dress and I meant it with love. It's like recognizing something.
I meant my joke with love too.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, so I apologize for that. Don't forget to block me on XCOM.
Well, there you go. Good. Well, but then you'll miss all the funny stuff you post.
Terrible advertising. Jonathan Connor? Have you seen Jonathan Connor?
So they all have to sleep. Connor? Yeah, right. He's looking for Jonathan. He knows what Jonathan Connor looks like. They bury this. They bury it and they bury it. That he knows what he looks like. And
no, he doesn't. He doesn't.
He knows he's 35 years old and he's 5'10".
Yeah, but no, like what's...
But earlier when he was talking to the ladies, he acted like he doesn't know what he looks like.
Harper knows what he looks like.
Yeah, Harper knows.
Harper is the one... Because Dylan says, so do you know anything about this guy, about John Connor? And she's like, yeah, we need a surgeon. Let's not forget, we need a surgeon to go and help Pater Cambridge to live. And so it's like, okay, so who do we find? We got to find this one doctor. He's too far away. Okay, so we got to go find John Connor, who was a student of this other doctor. Okay, so do you know anything about him? And it's like, all right, we got to find him because he was looking for this particular plant that was going to be a special medicine. So Harper knows what he looks like. Dylan doesn't. Dylan only knows what Harper told him. And so Harper is the one with that's who it is. And so that's
okay, but why would he go on this mission without looking at a picture
Well, I don't think
Connor.
we're not shown a picture. I was actually expecting a different, like I was expecting an actor, like I was expecting like a special guest star, but we didn't get one.
Yeah.
James Caserta asks, comic relief crusader, is it Krieg? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he looks Kriegish.
Anyway, Dylan escapes the pen, and he asks the farmer. I guess the farmer doesn't have to sleep in the pen. He gets to sleep outside. So he's kind of like a more special dink. And anyway, a lady comes up and catches him. So he catches her back.
And then we get a classic Captain Kirk situation where Dylan thinks that he's on top of the situation, and then someone sneaks up behind him and hits him on the head, giving him a concussion, which doesn't at all alter anything.
You remember that rule of silence? It's still in effect. Not one word.
Yeah, he does think he's on.
You got to keep.
No, I don't have it. For what?
Whenever I get out of line, you have to like you mute me and then you play that.
You like that one better than Shut Up, Wesley?
Yeah, I like that way better than Shut Up, Wesley.
Okay. Well, I'll keep it just for you then. And then I didn't get the video of him getting smacked in the head with a wooden pole.
Bonk, bonk.
A wooden stick.
Big bad.
It's more than a stick. It's like
it's a log.
It's a log. Yeah.
You're gonna love it. Log.
Yeah. All kids love log. Oh well.
Yes.
So.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Yeah. Back at Teresa's house, Hyper gets a new wardrobe.
And it looks good on her. I would say 9 out of 10. Go to the Met Gala.
Yeah, it does look good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she also asks Therese, using the drugging men wasn't always the case, was it? And Therese says, in the beginning, it was given only to troublesome males, but over the years, our women have begun to depend on it. And then I didn't expect Therese to admit this so readily, and this is how I surmise that she doesn't drug her men. But by using it so much now, it's slowly destroying our Confederacy. Not one household in 5 had a child last year. And so they've got fewer and fewer babies because of this, even though she has a baby. So that shows you that she's not using the drug.
Yeah. Which I think is great. I think that's fantastic. If you want to placate your population into subservience and you do it through chemical, then you're going to find lower fertility.
Actions have consequences. And in this case, the unnatural control of the male sex, it turned out to cause chemical castration, which is really terrible. My goodness, those poor guys.
Well, and also considering the fear that is cultivated by the drug, like all of the women are going to have to be on top. There's no man on top missionary. They're too scared. They're too scared.
On that bombshell, we cut back to Dylan.
Right.
Bilar saw Dylan eat the food, so she thinks he ate it, but just suspects he doesn't respond to it. But Marg knows better. But Bilar doesn't know better, so she's like, if you can't train him, you got to kill him. So Marg pulls out her knife, and Bilar thinks she's gonna take care of it. But Marg has this handy dandy little secret compartment in her knife where she keeps drugs.
Which makes sense to me. I thought that was an interesting. I wish there had been, because obviously there are commercial breaks there where the story would go. But I was hoping for one of those classic Star Trek, you see her raise the knife, or you see her holding the knife, and then it fades to black, and it comes back, and then she unscrews the hilt and then takes out the drug. I thought that would have been a little cooler, but I thought that this was, in terms of tension, come on, Mark Daniels, you could have built a little bit more tension with this.
No, I think what happened was maybe there weren't as many commercial breaks because it was like maybe they actually cared about the audience having a good immersive movie watching experience, and they didn't have as many commercials because there is a commercial break cut later. That is an obvious one. And I'm like, wow, they didn't have a lot of those. So did they just not have a lot of commercials when this aired?
Well, as you mentioned, it would have been an ABC movie of the week.
So anyway, Marg takes this vial and force feeds Dylan the medicine that he avoided earlier from the gruel. And so now everything looks fuzzy to him. He's seeing double, and now he's afraid. And now he's a dink.
Well, and let's not forget that Marg is interested in Dylan. There has been discussion as to whether or not he would be a valuable breeder. And so basically, what she pulls out of the hilt of her dagger is euphemistically referred to as a Cosby.
Yeah.
Great. That's all I was looking for.
Yeah, it's a drug that causes the ability of the women to control the men, and so that is essentially, yeah.
And as her interest is primarily for breeding, there is going to be coitus that occurs.
And that's the darkest way to look at it. It kind of takes some of the
what's been laid
but it
out
is
in the
exactly but
world.
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. But that is and it's interesting to see that flipped. The tables are a bit turned there. But Dylan is fighting this. He's fighting this drug that's controlling, that's supposed to make him easier to control.
Mm-hmm.
He's still trying to talk back, but he can't control the fact that he's scared and he flinches. And so now they're trying to sell.
Anyway,
yeah, sorry. I know. They're trying to sell Dylan now. Yeah, eyes down. That is the thing they say a lot. But Marg is having second thoughts, but Viller says, no, you already promised that we're going to sell him, so we're going to sell him. So that's why I said earlier that I wasn't sure who's the leader here, because they seem to share that responsibility.
But, well, and as we'll see shortly, with the fight between Harper and Marg,
that's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah, we just want to see Harper and Marg fight, right?
Well, yes, and again, which is very Roddenberry. It's like cat fight. Let's see the girls fight. Thank you, Roddenberry. Let's get a bunch of chicks together and have them fight.
But it's for story reasons, because of course Harper has to win back Dylan so that they can save their friend, who will save another friend.
But when you are writing the story and there is something that you want to see, you can, as the puppet master, ensure that you will see what you want to see. And so, being a fan of a lot of moaning and groaning, a lot of hot chicks fighting. I think this is up Gene's alley.
Yeah, well, this is not the first fight between the ladies. There was another one earlier. I showed that one.
Well, Harper she gets beat down by Marg quite easily in the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. And I didn't show that part, but yeah, she was just tossing her around like a rag doll. It was almost like Harper didn't want to fight, but she knew she was supposed to fight.
Right.
Then she finally gets it together, her act together, and wins. She ends up winning. You won him fairly. And
see, and that's... Sorry.
Marg is offering you friendship, We feel no shame here after we've done our best.
Exactly. And Sigvaldison says, wrong music, though. Yeah, ba 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 ba. Yeah, ba 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 ba. Oh, there you go. That's girl fight Star Trek music.
If it were really a Star Trek episode, that's what would have been playing. Yes.
Yes.
You're right.
But
You're
it
right,
needed
Sigvaldison.
it needed the O at the end to make it between ladies. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Joe.
And so the ladies who wanted to buy Dylan are all sad because of this eventuality.
Because it's John Saxon. He was in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, they wanted to make babies with him. Tree says
they were making babies, and I looked at them, and I saw the babies, and the baby looked at me. Sorry, that's Simpsons. Anyway, I'll be back in a second.
Tree says, what do you expect of your males? If you drug your rams and stallion, it's the same way. And despite believing in this society, Tree realizes how wrong it is using this drug. So we know, of course, another clue that she doesn't use it herself because she's so critical of it. And another clue that she doesn't use the drug is coming up with this dialogue where Marg says this. She says,
The human male is an unstable creature
who can easily be controlled by any real woman.
And Treese continues, unless she's afraid he'll end up by dominating her. And Marg says, I'd like to see the male who could dominate me, which is called foreshadowing. And then we have Treese saying, perhaps that's exactly what you'd like, secretly. More foreshadowing. And so there's your hint right there where this story is going. Harper Smith has to introduce herself to Dylan all over again since he's a dink now, and so she can't really communicate with him very well because I guess not only do you become afraid, but you also lose your sense of self, and you don't know who you are, who anybody else is, or what anybody else is. It becomes very difficult for you to think, and yeah, like Scotty's not wrong. It is essentially a bad time drug. Oh, speaking of dinks, though, Harper Smith Smythe says, I need to find another dink. She's looking for John Connor. And let's see what's going on in the chat. I haven't looked at it in a little while. Also, we were saying disparaging remarks about religion too. Well, only that one. Are you talking about the elephant in the room? Well, there were a lot of elephants in the room we talked about today, which is perfectly fitting for Gene Roddenberry's birthday. Yes. A special dink is a dingle. James Caserta says, down with the patriarchy. Or here the men would say, down with the matriarchy. Yeah, And, yeah. Greek Letters Larson says, women don't need drugs to control men. They have something else for that. Yes, absolutely. And Treese agrees with you. A real woman doesn't need drugs. As he begins to embrace his anger, allowing his hatred to strengthen him. Yes, we got to see a bit of a cat fight. But there was no mud wrestling, though. No mud was part of the story. And the planet of the dominatrix? Yeah. No, okay, so it's not, the whole planet isn't like this, Greek Letters Larson. This is just one subset of society that is like this. There are lots of different communities on Earth that all experience dealt with the aftermath of the apocalypse in a different way. And so this is one village that did it this way. Then there's another village who are the Kriegs who who are Mad Max kind of people before Mad Max, as we mentioned. And there's the Pack Society, who are scientists who use the transportation system that still existed and was still working from the before times. And so the idea was that the show was going to have lots of different subsets of different kinds of societies, and this is one of them. The only one of them out of thousands that Gene Roddenberry imagined that we didn't really get to see. And so that's the answer to that question. And so then Harper wants to know where Connor is. And it just so happens that Marg has all of the outside dinks, almost pretty much all of the dinks that come from outside of the society. And so that's the perfect place to look for Connor. And so she invites everybody to stay at her place. And Harper Smythe describes Connor further: brown hair, hazel eyes. And she does not agree about the drugging, and she expresses this to Marg even further. And Marg says that the dinks get used to it after a while and they begin to like it. That doesn't sound right. Marg is full of it. She's self-deluded or something. And so there's bad news back on PAX. Pater Cambridge isn't responding to the heart machine, so he has only 15 hours left to live. In case you, so they reminded you of that reasoning why they're actually here in this village, is to find Jonathan Connor so he can perform the surgery on Peter Cambridge. And there's a, let's see. Dylan is having a hard time fighting the drug and the fear it inflicts. And so, oh yeah. What is his name again? Gorda, which is weird because Gorda is like a Spanish word for fatty. He's not very fat at all. Anyway, Dylan's having a hard time fighting the drug, and so Harper shows him that, oh no, you're just afraid because you're afraid of disappointing me. So I want to show you that you're not disappointing me. So she starts to pet him, and then they have a very intimate moment.
Hells yes.
And oh, hey, how did you?
Magic. Let's just call it magic.
All right. It was magic.
This makes you happy?
Yes, Dylan.
Which would have been an interesting plot line going forward.
Right. They tease about it at the end of the episode a bit.
The only thing that I would say, I love John Saxon. I don't know what it is, but when he kisses, it looks like he's trying to suck her soul out of her face.
Hey, got a powerful.
Yeah, through the power of Saxon. And then all of a sudden, John Connor shows up and says, "Are you a Terminator?"
Yeah, it's really Jonathan Connor. They've been looking for him all the time, but he found them. And he's not even drugged either. He hasn't been drugged for a long time. And so he's got the antidote, and he tells Harper how to prepare it. And you mix it with water when you want him to be himself again. And so they explain to him that he's urgently needed to save Cambridge. So he springs into action and prepares the antidote for Dylan. And that's where we got a commercial cut for some reason at that moment.
Yes.
And yeah, so now Connor knows that he needs to perform bioplastic surgery. And so he's got to escape. Unfortunately, Mark would know he's gone, so he can't slip away so fast because he's wanted in the kitchen. So the only way this will work is if Marg could be distracted. What better way to distract her by having Harper trade Dylan for Jonathan.
Which I find to be weak sauce for the reasons of the plot.
Uh-oh, you don't like the trading distraction? Because they did set up that Marg is very interested in Dylan. So I don't see
no, that's fine. I'm fine with that in terms of making the exchange. But I am, if he is from PAX or associated with PAX, and he is a man of science, maybe he's not a rough and tumble action man like Dylan. Like, he can't just sneak out in the middle of the night and then go towards one of the, wouldn't he know where the Jeffries tubes are? Like, I don't get why he stays here, even though if he is cognizant, he's in one of the powerful members of the Confederation of Ruth. Like, it seems like he has been given privileges as being a gruel manufacturer, but like, he's been aware of this for a while, and he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, why didn't he put the antidote in sooner? Is a good question.
Yeah. Like, this is just the reasons for plot and story. So, but whatever.
Maybe he didn't have enough yet. Maybe he had to collect these teeny tiny leaves, and he didn't have enough to put the antidote to everybody, and he wanted to free everybody all at once.
That is true. It is heavily implied, that the reason that he didn't want to go is because he couldn't leave these men to be subservient to these cruel women who are willing to put men under their thrall through drug.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, that's essentially a bit like Star Trek 2, where, okay, we can escape Landru, but everyone gets to escape in Landru too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I retract my criticism.
Yeah, that's exactly what he says too. The criticism is explained here. I've been accumulating a supply of the antidote, waiting for a chance to get into the gruel they send out from here. So he just didn't have enough. And I don't know, even if he did was kind of allowed certain privileges, especially from not being drugged, he was also watched by like a hawk by the other lady, so maybe there was too much attention on him to be able to surreptitiously fix
surreptitiously.
You knew what I meant.
Yes. Sorry. Moving on.
Yeah. So he'll need to. Okay, so Dylan encourages him to go do that now, and so they do. So they start that mission, and Harper explains. Okay, so they do the trade, and Marg comes in, and she pretends that, oh, this is a hard bargain, and then immediately agrees while looking at Dylan like a hungry wolf. And so.
Like a hungry wolf? Okay. Yeah, no, that's true.
Did you look at her eyes when she was like...
Oh, yes. I did see her flaming desire for Dylan.
Exactly. Hey, I'm not cutting out or anything, right? Because it looks like my internet seems to be low.
Nah, you're fine.
I'll let you know. Maybe it's just StreamYard warning me for no reason. Okay, so
I can hear you. We can hear you. I understand.
Anyway, Dylan's really hungry, and Marg is eating some food that he wants. And Gorda is a very jealous dink. He's like, oh, you want me to get rid of this guy? This ugly guy? Let's get rid of this ugly guy.
I don't know why I wasn't expecting to hear jealous dink today, but I should have prepared myself better. What a jealous dink.
God. Well, this movie makes it easy to repeat such crazy words.
Well, don't you think it's kind of strange? Well, not strange. Typical that the male population of the Confederacy of Ruth reduces the male population to a single appendage. The only reason that they're there is muscles and dinks.
Mm-hmm.
Like there has to be a sex slave kind of thing going on here. Maybe,
well, of course, there's bondage. There's whipping.
Yes. Stop it.
There's
no. Don't go forward with this.
Let's say they're the language calling them breeders.
Yes.
And, how excited all the women are when that's a potentiality.
Typically,
yes.
The dinks are bottomless. Yes.
And to counter that, to counter these the men who are chemically castrated, Dylan talks about how he has 14 wives and has made 41 children with them. And of course he's totally lying, but I love how this kind of messes with her worldview. Because
and
that's
he
what
says
needs.
5 years, the last 5 years, 41 children, 14 wives. What's the math on that?
Oh, that doesn't count. And that doesn't work at all.
Well, no, if you got 14 wives, 9 months per wife. So hang on a second. Let me get my calculator here. I want to find out. Keep going. I'll find out. I'm going to do some math.
Okay. I mean, but women can't just have baby after baby that quickly, like after 9 months. Oh, and then you're I guess
what do you
maybe
think?
could,
They're Irish?
but oh my God.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Usually there's a couple years in between, or you're gonna really lose wives really quickly because their bodies are gonna wear out.
Right. And it's only been a year since Dr. John Connor has shown up, so he wouldn't be able to assist with that kind of situation. I wonder if, right. I don't know. I don't even know how to
41 baby. Well, unless they kind of have a lot of twins, a lot of triplets.
So what do I multiply? Like 14 divided? No, 41 divided by 14. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. I'm just a simple country doctor. 41 divided by 14.
Okay, so
that's
no, but you got to look at the
children.
years. You got to look at the years. Okay, so the years are important because that's where you get the 9 months from. Just going on a crazy assumption that you can have a baby every 10 months, which accounts just for one cycle of ovulation, which is insane and impossible.
Does ovulation occur immediately following childbirth?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So
but there's a lot of bleeding right after childbirth, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly when what is what, like what blood is what blood.
That.
Well,
so
you asked
41 divided by 14 means basically 3 babies per wife. And over the course of 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that's possible.
It's not pleasant.
Yeah, no. so well done. You did it.
Ish. Either way.
You get an A.
It's well, I think I get a B. I think that all of the wives get a D.
Too much of it, apparently.
Too much D. Yes.
Well, you can have that.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pillow Week Tea Time, where we sort of try and figure out the biology of making as many babies as possible with multiple wives. from John Saxon. In fact, I think everyone should take a
No, the
genealogy
first time I
test
watched this.
and
To
find
make
out if
sure
you
you're
are
not.
a descendant of John Saxon.
Yes. Yes. No, the first time I watched this, I missed the first 20 minutes. So when he started talking like that, I was like, is that true? Does he come from a society where he has like I was tricked too because I didn't know where he came from. So anyway,
Yes.
let's see. Gorda oh yeah, in the past scene that we just passed through, Gorda also started to eat the fruit because he saw that Dylan was getting positive attention from doing that. And then he started for the grape and was chased away. In fact, everybody was chased away because Marg now just wants Dylan because she wants a real man again. She anyway, she wants what is natural, but she just doesn't realize it. Anyway, once everybody leaves, Marg finds herself extra amused at Dylan, and she believes it's ridiculous that he had 14 wives. And of course, you proved that it's physically possible, but I don't know how long these ladies are going to live if they're pumping out babies that much.
That's, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to do the math. I don't want to talk about the implications.
No, I don't either.
Great.
But Dylan says that he has certain practices which makes him different from the men that she knows about. And so now she's interested in those practices. She's like, show me. And he answers,
Well, first, I need strength. And then, of course, we would require a quiet place.
Yeah.
So they go upstairs. She has Gorda bring all the food upstairs. She also has him bring some wine. And so
not
the plan
some wine. Not some wine. Like it can be considered that I have a little bit too much to drink from time to time. But how many bottles are here? 3, 4, 3? So
at least 4. Let's see.
At least 4. So that's, yeah.
Let's see 3.
Sure. And yeah.
He's hiding one somewhere. Oh no, you're right. There were 4. He dropped one. I forgot about the one he dropped.
I don't know. There is, a quid pro quo going on here where it's like, I'll drug you to have sex with me. And it's like, I'll get you drunk so you think you'll have sex.
Well,
and it's like,
this is kind of a fun, since you mentioned that they're drugging the gruel here. And then we cut to Dylan drugging Marg.
Not drugging
the wine.
She doesn't.
She doesn't. Alcohol is still a drug.
True story. Thank heavens. But I'm just saying, like, it's just strange how the manipulation of both parties involves inebriation and chemical alteration.
Yes, it's true.
But at least he gets to
we see the hypocrisy basically of the society saying that women don't deceive, but they do. They deceive by drugging the males. And,
true. Yeah.
And, that is cowardice, even though they say they're courageous. So they're nothing what they say they are.
It's not cowardice.
It's manipulation. Except for Treese. It's manipulation, but Treese isn't afraid. She doesn't use it at all.
But she still subjugates her men.
Yeah, she does. Unfortunately. So, but I mean, one step at a time.
But that's societal norm for the Confederacy of Ruth.
Exactly. That is status quo. And it's going to take several episodes, which we'll never get to see, for the status quo to flip, to be balanced. But we're not there yet. Sorry.
You don't have to drug your sexual partners, or at least you can say, I won't drug my sexual partners today. That's all it takes. I won't drug my sexual partners today.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to learn little by little, and this is why the series should have been picked up.
Yes.
And so Dylan is very pleased now. He has real food and wine. And he also says the wine is for is important to the ritual because well, I'll tell you why in a minute, but first she also whips him and he's upset. He says,
You frighten me, mistress. Nothing will work if I'm frightened.
But
and so
also,
yeah.
the reason she whips him is to ensure that he is still under the thrall of the Cosby.
Yeah,
Is to
but
make
then yeah.
yeah,
But
like,
then
and
he flips it on her saying, "No, but that makes it not work." Now
well, and
nothing
then she
works.
does. She implores him. She says, "But I just had to check. I just had to make sure." And so Dylan is, he's logical and he has fortitude to accept his flogging, and so he resumes his role as a dink. Because I was thinking that he was going to like do a Kirk or something and turn around and grab her wrist, holding the lash, and it didn't happen that way. He took his
No.
licks.
Basically, he's manipulating her into eventually treating him like a real human being.
Yeah, let's drink a couple of liters of wine and I'll give you the D.
Of course you can touch me. Just why do you think you're here?
Oh my God, I need that clip. I'm putting it on my Tinder profile.
And so, of course, Dylan begins to explain just how important the wine is to the ritual because he's trying to distract her. Because remember, the actual mission here is that that she needs to be distracted from realizing that Connor is gone, or that or to distract her away because her actual duties are to deal with the gruel, but she gave that duty to Parthas or whatever his name was.
Parthas, yes.
Yeah, Parthas. And so she won't see that the gruel is being slipped with the antidote.
Right.
So this all has reasoning. So this isn't just,
well, but
fun
she is
times for fun times' sake.
Well, it is fun times for fun times' sake. Like, she has a stable of dinks, and she's taking one of her new dinks, her newest prized dink, and she's going to have a little something something going on in the bedrooms.
That's
And
what
so
she's after, but he's
that's what
just trying
she's
to
after. Escape?
he's just trying to keep her occupied.
Right. By plying her with booze.
Our chemical configurations must balance.
And that is going to be the next pickup line next time I go to a bar and buy a lady a glass of a champagne cocktail. I'll be like, let's get 2 champagne cocktails. Our biological balances must link.
I have to work on that.
I am really going to have to not do that ever. So
oh yeah, you're right. It does sound bad.
It does. It's awful. It's awful. Why don't you drink more? I'll become more attractive.
But it works for Dylan. And so
Well,
here's Connor pouring the antidote. Yeah, no, don't do it. You're right the first time.
Right. Hey kids, don't.
So but Dylan is insisting that they drink more wine. He's so happy with himself for getting the antidote in there finally after all these. How long has he been missing?
A year.
Anyway,
I think.
a year? All these months then. So then we get.
You promised we'd be balanced. I know I'm balanced.
I bet you're wet as a rainforest, lady.
She.
Sorry about that. I'm assuming Jill is muting
Yeah.
her microphone
Yeah.
to make sure that she doesn't swear at me for being such a dink.
No, I wasn't. I would not call you a dink. Anyway. So, what was I saying?
I don't know. Something about balance?
Yeah. Yeah, you promised we'd be balanced. So he teases her. He calls her a pussycat. And she objects to this at first, but then she begins to giggle about it, pointing out that he doesn't really act like a proper dink.
You certainly don't act like a proper dink.
And she wants to name him, but Dylan says he already has a name. It's Rip, and so it's Rip Van Winkle, which is great. It's funny because that's exactly what he's doing. He's basically putting her to sleep. So,
oh no! May I? Because he goes on and this is something that is carried over from what I understand from what the glorious and gracious chat has said. If this is sort of a reintroduction to something from Genesis 2, is that we get much more of Dylan Hunt's backstory in terms of him being born in Colorado in 19 something.
I was going to mention that too, but
okay,
I
go
just
ahead.
I just like the joke.
But he's doing it because he's been asleep for 200 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was born February 3rd, 1944 in Fire Creek, Colorado. And he explains that it takes a while to be balanced at his age because he's 189 years old.
Yeah, it takes a while at my age. And I hear you, Dylan.
Okay, so I don't know. Dylan says, Marg of the Confederacy trapped in the clutches of a 20th century male chauvinist pig who's willing to admit that females in charge is no more upside down than our system was. Women's lib, men's lib. What do you say we dump them both, Marg? People's lib. Are you for people's lib?
And
are you for people's lib?
I'm for balance.
Hell's yes. And this was the moment where I was just like, hey, Gene, what's up, yo? This is the moment where I was like, women's liberation. Well, that means that there is one portion of the population that is liberated. And then Dylan says men's lib, which means one portion of the population is liberated. And then it comes together with people's lib. Why can't we all just live in equality and harmony and discover what one another are good at, capable of, and then come together in cooperation? And I was like, there's the Gene I know. There's the Gene Roddenberry. You're not just a sex-crazed drug addict. You're a guy who actually believes in harmony and humanity and people getting together to do stuff, to make things happen. And there is no superiority. There is for lack of a better term, balance. And I loved this moment. And I was like, okay, I get it now. Thank you for telling this story.
That's the thing about Gene. It doesn't matter exactly how he lives his own life. He has that feeling. He has that hope for humanity. Then maybe hope for himself too. What he puts on screen as an artist is what he wants to be and what he thinks humanity can be.
It takes self-reflection and it takes forward thinking. Absolutely. And especially considering it takes one of his longtime collaborators to be on screen. I make fun of Diana Muldaur because she was perpetually 40, still is. But the thing is that she trusts him as a writer. She trusts him as a creator, and they perform. I think that it is, I think it's fantastic. And this is where we sort of move on. It's not Marg drugging Dylan. It's not Dylan getting Marg drunk. It's a matter of them coming closer together to a middle ground. And through...
Yes, exactly. I think we're ready for a little nonverbal mutual respect.
Exactly. And the only thing that really bothered me about this after the scene is that because Dylan was wearing like sort of an open shirt at the end of the scene, and Marg was somewhat blanketed, but then next time we see them, he's not wearing a shirt. Like you missed in terms of the slides. He puts on a shirt. She puts on the thing. I don't know if they did the coitus. The connotation.
No, they didn't. It was very clear that she passed out drunk and there was nothing.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop some people sometimes. I'm just saying.
You wouldn't do that. He's not like that. He's from
I
Pax.
don't think he is. I don't think he is either. But there was something in terms of, because I was expecting it like back when Harper and Dylan were making out, and then John Connor showed up. I was like, oh, are they gonna like fade, like dissolve to somewhere else? And it was like implied that those two made with the love. And then when this happened, well, they would have if John Connor hadn't have showed up. But then when Dylan and Marg are hanging out, I was like, oh, okay. So Dylan's like, oh, okay, she passed out. Now I can do whatever I want. And I mean that in terms of the compound not making or having his way.
I didn't think that at all.
You didn't? Well, okay.
But
sorry,
I was think it if you want to.
Well, I was trying to put my head in the same space as Gene Roddenberry, and Gene Roddenberry, drug-addled sex.
No, he wouldn't. No, no. You're mixing it up. He was the one who took the drugs. He didn't give them out, and everything was always consensual with him.
Dylan or Gene?
Gene Roddenberry. If you're the one bringing him up, you're ascribing some terrible things to Dylan and Gene that just didn't happen.
Well, it just but I wasn't, in terms of the editing of the episode. I was curious. I didn't understand, and I was like, "Wait a second, did they?" But you're probably right.
Yeah, because he shakes his head, like, "Okay, guess they're not doing that."
Well, but he's
totally they're not doing it.
He's totally willing to go for it after, like when he walks away and she asks for more wine, he pours more wine and then goes back. And then he's like, I don't think we need more wine. And then he goes back, finds her passed out. And then he's like, he's all suave. And then his face drops because she's passed out. But then it sort of rises again and he smiles. And it's like, I guess this worked. And then...
No, but he just said mutual respect. There's no mutual respect if what you're assuming happened.
Suggesting, not assuming.
So,
all right.
So
I'm wrong.
It's not logical. Yeah, it's not logical.
Okay, I'm wrong.
But I mean, you can have whatever fantasies you want.
I don't want any fantasies with Diana Muldaur. It would be like making love to
And
my
there
grandma.
you go. Okay, then fine. Then stop making things happen that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, and what about John Saxon? Is John Saxon kind of like making love to your grandpa? Like, do you find John Saxon attractive?
He's cool. I don't know. I don't generally lust after actors or actresses, and so I hate it when you ask me to.
Okay, never mind. Moving on. So are you upset
Unless
when
I do,
say that I think...
except for Jeffrey Hunter. If you want one specifically, that I would.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know. But like, I still think Harper is cute. Harper Smythe. I think she's cute.
Anyway, we're having fun action time now.
Fun. Punch.
I am going.
You don't.
Pardon me.
Oh, that's classic. That is so classic. But also, I would like to point out that the Krieg drops his rifle. Dylan doesn't grab it. Dylan doesn't take the rifle. I was like, take the rifle. But then I remembered.
I thought he would take the rifle too, but you're right.
Yeah.
He's from Pax. And thus he didn't do anything with Mark. Proof there. And so unfortunately the Krieg show up and start shooting the dinks. And they fight. Everybody fights.
They fight. Tell me that doesn't look like Comic Relief Crusader.
It doesn't. I don't think it looks like Comic Relief Crusader.
Big shout out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if he sees this, I apologize. I don't know what it is. There's something about it. Maybe
okay, you know what? It's kind of a little bit. I can see the eyes. I can see it in the eyes a little bit.
I don't mean it as a negative. I was just like, who does that look like? Anyway.
All right. So unfortunately, they also captured John Connor and Harper, who were trying to escape to a subway shuttle, but they were captured.
See, Penny's with me. Penny gets it.
Yeah, I see Comic Relief Crusader. Yeah,
with the hand over the mouth, like it's almost a bad thing to say, and that's how I feel about it. It's like I don't want to say he looks like him, but I think he looks like him.
All right. Well, let's see. If Comic Relief Crusader, you watch this on the replay.
It's meant as a Euro science fiction 1970s action hero, is what I'm saying. Maybe a villain, but only for character wise. I'm not saying you're a villain, Comic Relief Crusader. I'm just saying.
Okay.
If that guy grew a beard,
we're over explaining.
All right.
And so, well, where are we? Okay, so
planet Earth.
And so they're going to kill Harper because their problem is that Marg is not afraid of them and they want her to be afraid of them. So they're going to kill Harper to make her afraid of them, which is stupid, but they're going to do that. So finally, we get action from Dylan. And we see this.
Fear.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it should be explained that because Harper and John Connor were going to the Jeffries tube and they got captured outside of the Jeffries tube because the Kriegs, they're monitoring all the Jeffries tubes to try and make sure that they. So anyway, they captured and then brought back, and that's how we get back here.
I explained all that except for the part that they're monitoring all the Jeffries tubes.
Yeah, they're trying to get in. But yes, the double kick. There's a lot of cool sort of 70s stuntman action that happens in this. It's like a guy throws himself back first into a group of people. I wish, you know what? There have been times when you've asked me to describe the action scenes. I wish I had done that for this, but I didn't.
I would have welcomed it, but I didn't ask for it. But yes, you do. They do go bowling for dinks.
They'd go bowling for dinks.
Whoa,
double fist punch.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a Kirk thing. And well, I have those.
Well, and this is the moment when I was watching the show and I was like, oh, right. How do we end a television show? Well, everyone has a Western brawl. Like this is going back to Gene's roots when it comes to Have Gun Will Travel, when it comes to Star Trek. It's like, how do we end the show? Well, everybody fights.
Well, come on!
Whoa! Bringing down the giant spoon?
Yes, the giant spoon.
My favorite is the guy who sort of launches himself at one of the Kriegs, and it's a flying bear hug. And it's like, let's imagine you were fighting a tree and then you just ran at it, did like a starfish towards it, and then hugged it, and then hoped that would stop it. And there is someone who does that, and I thought it was an incredible thing for the screen. But it was, oh my stars, ridiculous and yet visually fantastic.
Yes, and then Isaiah and Balak come back. I don't know where they went, but they returned. They were dinks at one point, and they ate the antidote at one point. And they went off. Well, they got horses at some point, and then came back.
And that's the thing. I think Treese says it's like, oh no, all the gruel is just regular gruel now. It isn't drugging them. It's somewhat nourishing them, because gruel is notoriously not nourishing. But it's like, yeah. But then we get Ted Cassidy doing amazing things, and there is a lovely little bong that happens when he mashes together two Kriegs. Hells yes. I can't believe you got that.
I had to get that one. Are you kidding? I had to. I was in love with that.
My dinks fought for me.
Because they're no longer drugged. We'd all be dead if they were.
No, every household has fought like this. It's happened over the entire Confederacy.
And I love how they admit that right away. We thought we could protect ourselves. We cannot. If the dinks were drugged, we would all be dead. And it's good that they get this wake-up call before, without having to have all died to have gotten it and had just a few of them left. So thanks to Dylan and friends. Oh yeah. Oh, I love this too.
This is good.
We need 2 fast horses. Here are 200 horses.
Yeah.
I cut out the part where they're like, here's the med kit. Here's the med kit, Harper. We're gonna leave now. I'll come back for her. Don't worry.
Well, and they say twice. Like when Isaiah it's like, yes, in my time, those were called automobiles. And they must have refashioned them under wood-burning gas power. And that's at the beginning of the episode. And then at the end of the episode, and what we're about to see is, or what we're about to, in the course of the story, Isaiah doesn't ask, but Dylan does say, oh, Isaiah, there were hundreds of these, thousands of these across the world in my time. And then you see Isaiah in the back of the car, and he's like, I do not trust this phantom carriage or something. He doesn't say anything. You just see it on his face. And it's so good. It's so good. Anyway.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like someone who's not comfortable. Definitely. Well, I could see that too.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank heavens they weren't Teslas.
All the women agree that, hey, we need these men to protect us, so we can't drug them anymore. But Marg says that, oh no, but it's not going to be the same. Imagine a household with undrugged males underfoot, chattering, making mischief. And children, perhaps?
See? Maybe your dinks won't be flaccid now.
Exactly. There won't be. Yeah, hopefully the effects of the drugging can be reversed.
Mm.
Imagine a household with undrugged males underfoot, chattering, making mischief, and children, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Dylan does tell Isaiah about all the cars and how many millions of them there were. And they had already dropped off Dr. Connor because all that happened off screen. You know that super important surgery that needed to save the life of Kimbridge? Well, we don't get to see any of that. That happens off screen.
I'm curious if Pater Kimbridge was set up in Genesis 2. I don't know.
I don't know, but I kind of would have liked to see the surgery because they kept talking about how special this plastic heart surgery was. Bioplastic.
Yeah. Well, but I think that's one of the downsides of the story is that I don't know this guy who we're trying to save. And so the stakes don't have as much weight as I would have liked.
The only thing that gives him any weight is the log. You have Dylan's log saying that it's just, it just tells you how important Cambridge is to him, but he's not that important to us because we don't know him, like you said. And that is weak point. But I think that was a consequence of this being a TV show that Gene thought, oh, well, we'll tell you who he is later and you'll learn about him more as he's actually going on missions and not dying this time.
Well,
but we didn't get that chance.
As we wrap this up and talk about the pros and cons, I'll explain.
And Marg is a little offended, somewhat indignant at being deceived. But she still likes Dylan, and she wants to see him again on equal terms. On balance.
Yeah.
Come back, Dylan Hunt.
On equal terms?
On balanced terms.
Hell yeah. Meanwhile, Isaiah is just taking a mate.
Yeah, he's just doing what he wants. And that is.
And Harper looks away. Harper is a little
Harper had her moment with Dylan too, and so it's a little hurtful maybe. And there's of course teasing between Harper and Dylan too at the end when they are actually talking to Cambridge.
This is so strange. Why have we not had any chat in the last 10 minutes? Is everybody just enthralled with our conversation?
Yes, probably.
All right.
Well, I haven't read the chat in a while. We have 19 messages I need to read.
Papa Smythe tells me you've had some most unusual experiences.
Oh, yes, Pater. Did she mention that I was hurting for a while?
As a matter of fact, she didn't.
Oh, Sigbalderson says dealing with work. Okay, so as long as I just didn't...
We're streaming when people are working. And don't worry about it.
The 22nd century, a reborn planet Earth, 1,000 new adventures. This has been one of them.
And it will be the only one.
That's why I clipped it, because I thought it was also kind of funny.
Yes.
Also sad. I want more stories.
There are 1,000 adventures. There are 1,000 adventures. 999 of them that you will never see.
I'm sorry about this. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so there you go. Oh, if you want to see math, I had to get math for my son. So there's math.
What is that? Oh, great.
So
yeah,
exactly. So if you missed it all, of course, we've got the Mad Max Kriegs taking over the technology, and we've got
the Angel One, Matriarchal.
Yeah, we got
Society
the Angel War and that's a great way to put it. And then
of the Confederation of Ruth.
Then we got the Matt Jeffries tubes that lead to the good city of people trying to rebuild Earth. And that's
And we've got Janice Margolin as Harper Smythe, which is one of the cutest women I've ever seen in my entire life. Thank you so much for that. Happy Valentine's Day.
And we got lots of dinks. And hopefully at the end of the story, they stop calling them dinks. And that's what I was hoping for. That's what I'm... Because the best thing that Gene Roddenberry ever does to me, the best thing that Star Trek does for me, is make me want to see more of the world. And I want to see more of this world. And I want to see eventually they stop calling them dinks. And they start, like, calling them by their name. And we see an evolution of that humanity coming forth and the balance beginning to strike and things becoming better. And then this wouldn't be better without you guys hanging out with me. And so I'm going to check on the chat and see what's going on. Penny says, my mother had 14 children, all one at a time, starting at 18 and ended at 42. And no, I'm not Catholic. Wow.
See?
Wow. Wow.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of siblings. You have I didn't know you had so many brothers and sisters, Penny. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. 7 of them didn't make it. Oh, I'm sorry
Even
to hear
more
that,
work.
Penny. Yeah, and well, if you are a mother, you know that those are your children too. So she did have 14 children. Those are all her children, and she thinks about all 7 of them that didn't live on Earthside.
My blessings, my thoughts.
Kimberly Ann Hart says the radio dramas. Yeah, radio
You've been
dramas are
listening
cool.
to the Twilight Zone while we've been broadcasting, Kim? Come on.
No. I think that we're the radio drama, according to her.
No, I
because
think
you're
she's
telling
been...
the story.
No, I
she's
think she's
listening
just
to radio
saying she's
drama?
been listening to the Twilight Zones aside from this currently. I don't think she's actually being like, I'm not listening to this. I'm going to listen to the radio dramas of something good. I think she's just saying that she's been listening to other things as well. And you know what? Hearing more stories is fantastic. You can't get new perspectives or learn anything else without listening to news stories. And that's what this has been in terms of Gene's birthday. Like, I've never heard of Planet Earth, and I watched it, and this is new to me. This is brand new to me. I'd never seen this before this morning, and it's great. I love it. And so I encourage everyone to go and check out new stories that you've never seen before. What was it? Last night I watched La Dolce Vita by Federico Fellini. And I was like, I've heard a lot about this. I got to check it out. And I did, and I liked it. I was confused, but I liked it. And so it is something as much as we love those stories of the past, the characters that we've come to know, there is something about seeking out new stuff. There is, and even if it's old, if you haven't heard it before, it's brand new.
New to me.
Exactly. And so, yeah, no, if you have an opportunity to check out new stories that you've never encountered before, new twists, new characters, new themes, new songs, new everything, then I recommend, like, I don't follow something that you don't think you're going to like just to say, I don't like this because it's not like it used to be. Find something that you've never heard of.
I mean, but sometimes you can't help that. But
I'm not saying all the
also
time. I'm just saying vary your media diet. Try and find something that's interesting.
Agreed completely. Yeah.
Tony, you're not...
Expand your horizons.
Yeah, Tony, you're not silenced in the chat. Where are you? We've been talking so much about sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
I'm getting to you. I'm so sorry, Tony. I am working on reading James Caserta's, who says Stuart Margolin's sister. What? Oh, from the Rockford Files. What is James talking about? I need to watch the Rockford Files.
Stuart Margolin is the sister of Angel, who was a friend of Jim Rockford in the Rockford Files. I didn't know that they were related. But, oh, wow, that's awesome, James. That's amazing. I didn't know that was Angel's sister. Now I feel bad about ogling her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't silence you, Tony. I just didn't see any chat. You have noticed that I was reading every chat. And no, I wasn't skipping you. YouTube must have cut it out. I don't know what it was. Let me check the YouTube side to see if there was something hidden. Because that might have been the case. Because if something's hidden, then StreamYard won't show it to me. So please rephrase it and put it in there again.
That's not how it works.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
If something is hidden, what are you talking about? If something is hidden on the YouTube side, it won't show up in StreamYard. If
That's
YouTube
incorrect.
decides, no, it's true. But
on Saturday,
not by a moderator. If YouTube itself hides it and decides no one should see it, it won't show up on the YouTube side. If somebody puts something in the chat and a moderator hides it, then you will still see it in the StreamYard side. If that's what you're looking for, the delineation of what's viewable.
Stark of Iron says, "You're fine." And I say, "Thanks, Tony. Yes, I am." So are you, Jill.
Yeah.
You're pretty fine.
Stark of Iron says, I tried to send a message 3 times and YouTube didn't like a word I used. Oh, man. I wonder what it was.
What word?
I don't understand what's happening. Did
you say fine. Dink?
I've been saying that nonstop for the past 3 hours, so I think that's probably okay. But I just think it was just such a interesting film. It was very Gene Roddenberry. I think it was a very good way to celebrate his birthday, as good as any on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah,
and it had some interesting ideas. I think it really was ahead of its time in terms of gender relations discussions. And oh, hey, look! It looks like we are reminded that Sigvaldison is continuing his membership. Thank you so much for continuing to be a member, Sigvaldison, going on 7 months. I can't believe it's been 7 months. And I remember just being excited the first time I saw you hanging around. Kimberly Ann Hart says, I was listening to the Twilight Zone radio dramas. Awesome. That's great. That is really wonderful. A great way to experience the same stories in a slightly different format. And so he said, go for the job you love. Apparently, they don't like shoot.
I don't know what the fuck you just said, little kid, but you reached out and you touched a brother's heart.
Okay, so Sigvaldison says, would Jill prefer Scotty as a dink? Watch out, Scotty, if Jill offers you food or drink.
See, this is the best part, is that I'm already drugged.
Yeah, so how do you make him a dink if he chooses to be... Wait a minute. Sorry.
Yeah, let's not... Well, no, I'm
kidding.
I don't know. Well, no, Jill, do you want me as a dink?
No, I don't. That would be terrible. I want you to have free will.
You want me to be John Saxon?
Yes, I want you to be John Saxon.
Are you for people's lib?
I'm for balance.
Exactly.
Oh, 16 months for Tony Stark of Iron. That's radically cool.
Delightful.
I'll give you this then. You'll get I just like that part. Thank you, Tony. And yeah, it's good to listen to the Twilight Zone.
So when it comes to Gene Roddenberry's posthumous birthday, heavenly birthday, delightful thanks for the fact that he was born. out of all of the Gene Roddenberry things that have ever occurred, what is your favorite Gene Roddenberry thing? Now, I'm
Yes.
going to ask that this happens prior to 1991, which I believe is when he passed away. What is your favorite Gene Roddenberry thing?
Well, aside from Star Trek, I would have to. I don't know. What is my favorite Gene Roddenberry thing? I can't say anything except Star Trek, really. That's what I know the most about from him. But I do know I love that the way that he is because of his parents. Because his parents were uncommonly they were different from other people of the time, where they didn't judge people based on their ethnicity or their the way people look. And so that rubbed off on Gene for the rest of his life, and that is something that he shared with everybody, which is good. And it's one thing. What's your favorite thing?
I think that my favorite is his humanist, and this is only through interviews. I never met the man, and I know that there were people, probably most likely in the chat, people part of your audience, part of your community, who actually had the opportunity to go to conventions and whatnot, and at least be in the same room as Gene Roddenberry. But I think that my favorite is whenever I see an interview with him and he talks about the veracity of the human spirit and how he refutes the idea that ancient aliens built the pyramids. And that, I guess that's my favorite thing, is when there is an interview with him and he says, it's like, people say that aliens came down to Earth and helped build the pyramids. And it's like, no, pshaw, I'm paraphrasing. People built the pyramids because people are resilient. People are caring. People, when they get together, can do incredible things. And so his faith, even if it was just a public persona, his faith in the ability for cooperation is one of the things that inspires me. He inspired me.
Because he lived it.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of his military career, his police career, in terms of the things that he did to save people from plane crashes, there is something like, maybe Gene Roddenberry was not a one-dimensional man who was just sort of like a messiah for science fiction. He was flawed. I bring up sex pervert, drug addict, philanderer, all of these things, but those I take into account when I think about him as a person as a whole. To think that a man is just going to be, Jesus because he made something that I love is flawed and short-sighted. What people do, people, like, again, I think that people elevate him very, very much. And I do, when I talk about Gene Roddenberry, I talk about Pretty Maids All in a Row. I talk about all the things that he's done. But
Pretty Maids All in a Row was not good. I didn't like that movie.
It was great. I love that movie, and I wish you'd stop telling me that it's bad. But I just want, like, I think that there is so much of a melange of emotion and ideal that happens within all of us. We're not all the bad. We're not all the good. We're a complete and total hodgepodge of the good and the bad, and what we try and do for one another. And that's what I think the Enterprise is. That's what I think Star Trek is that the integration of all of these different ideologies and philosophies coming together to try and make something better. That is great. That is great. And I think that Gene Roddenberry was probably one of the first people to, in terms of his art, one of the first people to introduce that to me.
Oh, yes. Me too. And
also, I really loved his alcoholism and drug addiction and his philanthropy.
That's why you mention it so much, is that you relate.
Oh, man. He was so into butt stuff. I loved that.
Oh my God. No, step back. Let's walk that back.
You
That
don't
is not a thing
know.
you can say. You don't know
Don't
either.
know. I'm
Don't
guessing.
just randomly say things
Come
about
on, one
people like
of my
that.
favorite things is saying butt stuff.
Okay, okay. If it was just an excuse to say that, then be honest about it that that's all it was.
I was.
So I think I. Oh, no, I don't.
I love seeing the viewership go up and down every time I do something. It's great.
Could you read this from Canadian Spider-Man? And yeah.
Canadian Spider-Man in the chat says, "Damn straight. Humans built the pyramids. The Egyptians have a rock quarry at the Nile, and they used animal skin airbags to float the stones. They understood hydraulics and watertight oils, etc." What is the Spidey, what is the difference between the Egyptians and us now? Different technologies, but we have ingenuity and we have spirit and we have an aspiration to make something better for the future. And if we falter, we falter, but we are working towards something better, at least we hope to. And the only thing that gets in our way is, avarice. You never want to make it about yourself, and you hope that everyone can come together as a community and move forward. And if you dismiss some people, then you're gonna lose out on what they can contribute. And I think that's something that Gene saw. Why would you dismiss Blacks and Asians? And I say that in a way that he would say. But why would you dismiss people who can contribute?
And he doesn't do it in a admonishing way. He's not admonishing anyone. He just he leads by example instead. He says, on my TV show, we're gonna have someone hired because they're best for the job, not because they fit some kind of criteria that everybody has decided is the norm. And so that's why we've got Uhura, we've got Chekhov and Sulu, and they are just doing their jobs. They don't there's no scolding or anything. It's just, hey, we're trying to survive in space. It's dangerous out here. What can we do together?
And that's why I want to suggest, have we reviewed The Hunt for Red October?
Not yet.
I want that for my Battleship movie.
Okay, it is a submarine.
Made for battle, and it is a ship.
Okay. Okay, fine. It's just a question. Well, we'll talk about it later, Friday or Saturday.
Yeah. But I'm just, the only reason I bring that up is you look at The Hunt for Red October and you have Jones, the sonar man from Hunt for Red October, black guy, played by Courtney B. Vance, one of the incredible characters in all of fiction. And it's the same situation as Lieutenant Uhura. Is that she is the communications officer. Is it ever referred to in terms of her race? Never. Same with Jones from Jones from Hunt for Red October. It's not like, oh, you're different pigment. It doesn't
the
matter.
only time it happens is when a reincarnation of Kirk's idea of Abraham Lincoln comes aboard.
And
that's even mentioned.
But that's supposed to be a representation of how things have changed from Lincoln's era till Kirk. So anyway, Gene Roddenberry was such a forward-thinking and inclusive and progressive.
Yeah, he was incredible.
And he was also a drug-addled philanthropist.
Oh my God.
And also a
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say, I don't know. I mean, just when you say addled, it's just such a rude way to say it. Can't you just say he
enjoyed the recreational chemicals?
And we don't even know what substances they were. So it's like, just don't worry about it. It's something that happened. It shortened his life, and that's unfortunate. We would have liked to have him longer.
Was he? I don't even know how old he was when he died.
When he died, he was not very old. No,
I thought he was like 72.
No.
He was in his
It was,
70s.
no, he wasn't. Wasn't he in his 60s?
I don't know. All I know is he's not with us here today.
Oh, you're right. He was 70. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
he could have lived longer.
And he could have prospered. Well, he prospered before he didn't live longer.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely prospered. No kidding. Exactly 70. If depending on what, or 69 or 70. A submarine is not a battleship, Scotty. Submarine month is in March.
Oh my stars. There are battleships in that though. Well, it's either anyway. Spidey.
Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, no
Anyway,
show
I
notes.
do have
No
to
show
go.
notes.
Oh my goodness. If I promise everybody, if this were the case where it were any other day, I would be here for another 3 hours looking up new stuff about Gene Roddenberry that I didn't know and learning stuff with you guys. But unfortunately, I do have things I am responsible for that I have to take care of. And Sigvaldson says Gene Roddenberry was born on August 19th, 1921, and passed away on October 24th, 1991. And today, as of today, he would have turned 104 years old. And yes, that's true. We did mention that at the top of the show. We were talking about how old he was when he died. But if he were still alive today, he would be 104. And that is in my title too. So, and gosh, Gene Roddenberry deserves such a longer, bigger, crazier live stream. But we did as much as we could for today, and I think we celebrated as much as we could the person who is very important to us, who has made something, who has made incalculable gifts. A word I can't even say. I don't know why I decided to say a word I can't say.
You said it. You said it perfectly.
Okay. Anyhow, I just want to thank everyone for talking to me about all of this stuff. I always wondered, if I start a channel, will anybody care? Well, apparently a few do, and I appreciate every one of you.
I only have one question.
Yes.
When do we go live?
Oh, I forgot to press the live button. How are all these people here? How are all these people in the chat if we're not live?
I don't know. We should share this with other people.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, no, Jill, this is amazing. I'm so happy. Like, again, one of the reasons that I have the opportunity to talk to people on the internet is because all I wanted to do was talk about Star Trek and celebrate Gene Roddenberry, and then also bust his chops a little bit about his foibles. But ultimately, it comes from a place of love. And if it weren't for Gene, I probably would be a completely different reason, or a completely different person. Like,
oh,
I
me too.
wouldn't,
Absolutely. He influenced my entire adulthood.
and mine too. And so, I thank him. I bless him. I'm grateful for not only his creations, but and even though I make fun of them, but I celebrate the ones that you hate. And like, I do celebrate everyone who enjoys along with me. And
Gotta be careful sometimes when you're celebrating. It sounds derisive.
Well, no, whatever. Come on, Pretty Maids All in a Row. You check it out. Check it out. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And even suggesting it to you sounds derisive. But I just think that if anybody is a Star Trek fan, if anybody is a fan of Gene Roddenberry's other works, I have never seen Andromeda. I've never seen Genesis 2. There are so many things. I've never seen Spectre, which is next on my list. But if you're a fan of
cool. I still need to see Quester tapes too.
Quester, I haven't seen. And I like the actors from Quester tapes. But like, if you're a fan, just spread the word. Because as Dr. McCoy said at the end of Star Trek 2, he's not really gone as long as we remember him. And so
that's right.
Blessings, live long and prosper. And thanks.
As Gene gave us a roadmap for who we can become, and I appreciate that very much. And I thank everybody who's here.
Mega Cropper.
And every Mega Cropper, yeah. I don't know if I can name everybody because I do have to leave.
Everybody.
So stay curious and thank you.
Well,
for
except
listening.
for the super chats. Got to say hi to the super chat.
Oh, right. Oh, do I have them on hand? Sigvaldison, thank you so much for the gift and for being a member. And Sigvaldison and Circle of Iron for continuing to be a member. Thank you guys. And thank you to, of course, everybody who was here. Penny, Sigvaldison, Canadian Spider-Man. I'll read a few. Kimberly Ann Hurt. I'll just read a bit of who's still here in a reasonable 1 minute time frame of how much I can scroll. Greek Letters Larson, James Caserta. And Gap After Dark. I wonder if you're still around. Hello, Gap. Once again, hope you're having a great Tuesday. And yeah, let's keep on being curious, and like Scotty said, look into some new things that you haven't heard of before. I definitely wanted to keep doing that. That is my favorite thing. I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
Live long and prosper, yo. Take
and
drugs. Have sex.
Wait a minute.
Gene.
Okay. Wait a minute. Calm down. That's not right.
No, it's right.
Happy birthday,
it's
Gene Roddenberry. It's a little wild though. It's like, what are you talking about?
It's what he would have wanted.
Well, but that's just what he wanted. He didn't. Well, anyway,
he did.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty. It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
The 22nd century, a reborn planet Earth, 1,000 new adventures. This has been one of them.
I just wanted to share with you something that may lift your spirits as it did mine those many years ago. All that nonsense about the dangers of mixed races living together on a spaceship or anywhere, and how some parts of our country were certain to refuse to televise Star Trek because we showed such things. The hatred that would supposedly flood our mail, turning sponsors against us. In all the years of Star Trek, we never received so much as one such letter. Not one. Humans are capable of so much more than we yet understand. We're really something. Star Trek fans believe that. And so do I.